Welcome to Comtrack, where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. So we are back in our second installment of the Cornetto Trilogy. I'm Tim Leifert, your host.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Martha.
And this is our new microphone.
Yes, we sound significantly better than the Shaun of the Dead. Still working on bugs and tweaks, but hopefully we'll sound just about good enough where it's not like, why?
My voice will no longer be like a grating pain in your soul where you're like, shut this bitch up and let Tim talk. Oh my god.
It's so pretty, too. It's got curves. It's soft in some places.
Are you sure you're talking about my microphone, or are you just talking about Hannah?
Go to the homepage to see nude pics of our new microphone.
All on Comtrack on the Facebook page. And yes, there is a link description of our new Comtrack Facebook page down below. But enough of our stuff. Let's talk about our next film in the series, which is the next in the Cornetto, Hot Fuzz.
This was listed as my This was listed as my favorite film on my college dorm room door, where they gave us a sheet and told us to write our favorite film and our favorite. So I think
this is the film I made everyone in my family watch.
oh,
That's how you know it's my favorite film. I will make you watch it.
you force your mother to watch it and be like, I don't understand.
Yeah, like you should see her watching Monty Python. She's like,
What's
what are they saying? I don't understand their accents. I love my mom, but she can't watch Monty Python.
Oh, I showed my grandparents Shaun of the Dead, and it was very much like, we've been sitting here for an hour and a half. I haven't seen any zombies, and this is stupid.
See, I showed my mother the Cornetto Trilogy. She didn't really much like Shaun of the Dead, but that's because, she was, not really so much into horror movies. But she really enjoyed Hot Fuzz. She enjoyed that one most of all, and I think for some reason this one speaks to most people, and that's probably why it's the most popular. Because, we always, say that Shaun of the Dead is really great, Hot Fuzz is clearly the best, but World's End is our favorite.
It's the perfect St. Patty's Day movie, too.
Hell yes, and that's coming up, actually.
You just lost all your Irish fans by telling them to watch British films on St. Patty's Day.
Well, it's about drinking.
It is a good drinking movie. If you're an introvert and you want to get smashed.
Yeah, The World's End is really good, but that's going to be our next episode.
One drink per pub, or one shot, if you're brave.
Oh, good Lord. Please don't. You will destroy your liver. I'm actually amazed that when we first did that, Hannah was able to go as long as she can.
I made it to the Beehive, puked, and then I think I made the rest of the way
Yes,
after.
you did.
But you had to pause the film, and I threw up, so I don't know if it counts.
It kind of counts.
We'll save the rest of that story for when we watch The World.
Okay,
Yeah, because I was
I
was about to say that's going to be our next episode, which I'm calling our St. Patrick's Day hangover movie night. Yeah, it's because it's literally right around the corner, so
yeah.
I figure that'll really work. But no, back to Hot Fuzz. Yeah, Hot Fuzz. This is if Michael Bay was good, isn't it?
It just takes, the things that you love about those big, bad American action movies and puts a lot of thought and wit into them. So
Yes.
you still get to see the action scenes and the explosions, but you get to see a good movie at the same time, which is so hard to do.
And it's a buddy cop drama on top of all of that, and comedy.
Well, even better, it's just laugh out loud funny.
Oh, man.
The jokes, my God. It's amazing some of the stuff that they were able to pull off.
And it's very realistic cop work. I've heard a lot of police officers really love this movie because it shows the boring parts of police
Yes.
work
the
so
amount
well.
of paperwork. Click, click. Where's the pen with that clicks? Click,
And
click.
they edit it to make all these mundane things to look like action-packed sequences, which is brilliant.
Yeah, if you're
And
a cop.
as an English major, I can appreciate how they did Romeo and Juliet in this movie.
Oh my God.
It's almost
That
like...
is an accurate representation of what most Shakespeare films are to me.
Well, it was a parody of the Baz Luhrmann one. As you can see, they've got the knight in shining armor, the angel costume.
Yeah, exactly. And they go for
Love me, say that you love me.
yeah, and that's the thing about a lot of Shakespeare. They try, whenever they do an adaptation of it, they try so hard to be hip. They try too hard, and and then they just end up copying Baz Luhrmann because they're lazy.
Oh, yeah. Shakespeare adaptations, just put them in some modern clothes and don't fuck with it too much, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's but anyway, yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else that we can say about this movie.
It's amazing.
Well, I mean, because honestly, I think this movie does action better than most like actual American ones nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Which is really well. Actually, I shouldn't be too surprised because when you actually go back and look at Edgar Wright's style, like you go seeing Spaced and Shaun of the Dead, it feels like his style has been building up to this moment to literally just like be an action movie. Because when you look at the way he edits and the way he shoots with all these whip pans and zooms and crazy scene transitions, it feels like all of that has been built up for this one movie. Because Edgar Wright has been always he's always wanted his style has always lent itself to action comedy, you know.
It's a smart, dumb action film. It is simultaneously a love letter to Michael Bay and a harsh, constructive criticism of it.
Which, you know, I
and
still...
Michael Bay, this is how you should do an action film.
Right? Oh my god! Because there's a lot of shots that he clearly copied from Michael Bay movies. Literally to the point where I'm saying, I am blatantly copying this shot. Like, you see them watching Bad Boys 2. They have the exact same shot later on. And it's funny as hell. So...
Have you seen Bad Boys 2? There's my Krabby Bitters accent.
I know, this movie makes me want to see, like, Bad Boys 2 and Point Break. Like, I
Okay,
need to go. I've never seen either of those.
Okay, see, I have seen Point Break many, many times. You should watch Point Break because the bromance between Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze is amazing. Like, it's...
Plus, Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves are in it, so...
Yes.
I mean, my attention's held.
So, but yeah, those two... Well, I have not seen Bad Boys 2 because... I'm sorry, I just have a really bad... or just like a real... I just have a really... I have a beef with Michael Bay himself because of what he did to me with Pearl Harbor.
Oh, man.
Pearl Harbor hurts still. It is still...
Nothing's more of a cool, fun action movie than the death of American soldiers. Like,
Right? Because...
And now my boyfriend's dead, but he's alive.
I don't like Michael Bay because of A, Transformers, and B, when Sean Connery, my love, worked on, like, The Rock with him, he walked off that set and never wanted to speak to that son of a bitch again. His words.
Well,
Man.
I don't blame him.
Defend your husband there.
Yeah. But
Sean, if you're listening, Martha's single.
I've just watched a lot of James Bond, so he's been on my brain.
Mr. Connery, I too believe that you are the one and only James Bond. So, and I love you as Indy's dad. So.
I haven't seen any James Bond. I know him as Indy's dad.
Yeah,
and that's when every film person doesn't listen to a word I say anymore.
Can I vouch that for, like, the next series that we do, we watch the Sean Connery James Bond films. There's, like, 6 of them.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
They're good, but laughable at the same time, and not intentionally.
The little nurse sharks in the pond that I wanted to kiss so much. I saw you watching them. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And you're like, it's a villainous trap.
We'll definitely make that like a James Bond month down the line.
Okay.
But for now, we're going to focus on Edgar Wright and his comedic genius. So, yeah. Oh, and speaking of James Bond, there is a James Bond in this movie. Yeah. Timothy Dalton.
Oh yeah,
Simon Skinner. He's James Bond.
You know that's
yeah, that was yeah.
Now I
all
really
comes full circle.
Well, see, now I really wish that in Shaun of the Dead.
Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
He's in Doctor Who.
Yeah, in the 10th Doctor, the End of Time. That movie, he played like a Time Lord that like wanted to like end time itself, or it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so don't quote me on that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We should start.
Well, actually, I was just going to say, before we do, now I'm really disappointed at Shaun of the Dead, because imagine if they had Sean Connery in that movie as, like, a zombie, even if it was just a cameo.
And then he'd be a Sean who was dead.
I'm saying that because the Hot Fuzz has another James Bond, which is Timothy Dalton, but World's End also has a James Bond, Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
So that would make the trilogy more or less complete.
Oh.
Like, see, oh man.
Go back in time
Are you
and
sure
give
Sean
Edgar
Connery wasn't in Shaun of the Dead? I mean, Sean, come on.
Yeah, but was there any mention of a Connery? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there was any character names after that, but...
Or just him dressed up as a zombie.
Oh, no, yeah. See, I would have loved it if he was like the barkeep of the
that would be
Winchester.
great.
Yeah, dude. Like,
John.
yeah, that would
I
have...
remember his name now because of Billy Joel. I haven't seen Billy Joel last episode.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that. Well, I mean, in all fairness, Edgar Wright didn't really foresee this becoming like a weird ice cream and blood trilogy
He
thing.
also had significantly less money.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we should call the trilogy.
They can't
And
just-
turn it to the Cornetto Trilogy, like a song of ice and blood.
A Song of Ice and Blood. That's a cool fan name. I love that.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do.
I totally did not steal that from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry, Mr. Martin.
all right, so I think we should start the movie, shall we? So, you guys get at home, like, if you don't want to hear us bullshit for like an hour and for half an hour before we start,
It's
you can-
11 minutes. Don't beat yourself up.
whatever. Either way, you can. We tend to bullshit a lot. So if you want to like skip ahead, there's like actually a sync button below, and we will do this for every single episode. You just hit the button, and we will be sunk up with your audio. So we are going to start in 3, 2, 1, playing. And there's the Universal Pictures logo.
I don't know the theme.
Yeah. Well, actually, what plays over the beginning, because, we watch these things on mute, obviously, but what plays, like, for you listeners there, you're hearing, like, a lot of police sirens. It's actually, Edgar Wright actually tracked down every single kind of police siren that's ever been used all over the world and combine them into this weird, almost musical kind of thing. So every single one of these police siren sounds is used some over the.
I love that entrance.
Oh, this.
The really long shot.
Yes, the long shot, because this is.
I wonder if Simon Pegg is like, how far do I have to walk? You just have to walk the hallway.
Just keep walking.
No, see, this is straight up Monty Python tribute.
Oh, yeah.
Like, straight up. Like,
he wants to come in and be like,
it's that's exactly what it is. Like, at least from my standpoint, it's like a total tribute to Monty Python's intro, and then we get right away our exposition.
Nicholas Angel.
Who, of course, was it's so weird that Nicholas Angel is named after the music supervisor of both this film and Shaun of the Dead. I mean, I really don't know what the reasoning behind that is, but I guess he's just like a really, really cool guy.
Well, he's a cool guy with a cool name. In junior high, I knew a kid named Ethan Stone. I didn't like him or hate him in any way, but I'm like, I'm naming a book character after you. Why? Because your name's Ethan Stone. It's fucking cool, man.
Yep. He's got the baton of honor, like, just listing all these crazy amounts of things. This shot actually reminds me, like, when he's looking at with the audience, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost were in full uniform while they were shooting, but apparently some of the people walking through the set or the location or whatnot, the cycling.
Thought he was an actual.
Yeah, they thought they were actual police officers, and they were actually, like, trying to help out, and it gave them, like, a sense of power almost.
Yeah, and they just fucked with them because they could.
Exactly, because they totally could.
So
Now this is just asking for directions and stuff. They didn't, like, solve a murder and walk off.
And then we have this little bit right here: crackdown, shakedown, and takedown. And those jokes come by so fast.
Oh, yeah.
So fast. Like, there are tons of jokes that are literally
a man
in it.
just as Father Christmas.
Oh, yes. Hi, Peter Jackson.
Yep.
I love it because I love the eyes. Like, it's Peter Jackson. But yeah, there's like, I also love the joke in this whole thing where they're like really brief cameos. You don't see their face, which defeats the whole purpose of having a cameo.
Yeah, isn't Kate Blanchett in it as one of the CSI?
Yeah, she plays
or whatever England's equivalent.
Yeah, she plays his ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah, you can't see her face.
But you can't see her face, and that's what makes the joke of the cameo even funnier.
It's like in early South Park where George Clooney was like, "Oh, can I be on an episode?" And they're like, "You're a gay dog. What's my line? Oh, you bark." He's like, "Okay,
sure, why not?" And because jokes like that just come by so fast. Literally to the point where you have to like pause it because it's in there for literally like 3 frames and that's it.
Not that you pause it, it's that on your second or third watch when you don't have to pay attention to the monologue. That's when these jokes pop out at you, and that's why I like his films, is the rewatchability of them.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I'm also thinking of like the gag that comes in later when Sergeant Butterman is looking through the DVDs and he throws it back into the bin. If you look very, very closely, it's in there for like literally 2 frames.
Like the description on the back.
No, there's a movie in the bin called Zombie Party, and it's based off the art of Shaun of the Dead.
Oh!
Wow.
So it's in there for literally
That's
just...
a good alternative title, Zombie Party.
Oh yeah, totally. But they didn't want to put it in there because they felt it would probably be a little bit too cheeky. But it is in there, and it's for like literally just like 2 frames. And I love the fact that you can go back, with your Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, and just pause and see these jokes because they go by so fast and they're so funny. And speaking of funny, we have more gratuitous cameos. We have we have Martin Freeman and I forget these other 2. Oh, well, I know Bill Nighy's coming up really soon as the chief inspector.
Kenneth.
And of
Sorry,
course,
Philip.
just always with that's Philip from the last one. But yeah, it's just like this whole thing. And also, for those of you who actually have audio, I really, really want you to pay attention to the tiny, tiny, itty bitty, teeny weeny little bits of audio in there. Like, there's this one shot that's coming up where he's like, "You're making us all look bad," and
He just said that.
he's also gonna he's like the chief inspector, and he's going to do this little thing with his eyes right here. If you listen, there's like this little teep sound, and it just adds to the comedy, like these little perfectly timed sound effects, like this. Just the one, like poof. And here's finally Cate Blanchett as the CSI woman who's.
I knew that was her.
Oh yeah, it totally was. Yep. But also, like, just the staging is funny as hell.
Her eyes are like just so fucking gorgeous with the lighting.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, I'm pretty sure like her eyes specifically was what got her cast as Galadriel in Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
The blue gloves really make them pop,
Yeah.
And the mask.
And then this.
And the blood.
I'm not Janine. But it's just the way that they move and how it's like they're just so casual. Hello there. It's just the staging of these scenes is really what makes me laugh. And no one else does this, and I'm really disappointed because I'm like, oh man, I watched like another comedy and I wish I really wish that they could be a little bit more creative with their settings and their deliveries and whatnot. Just like the sheer pacing and filmmaking,
Yeah, because if you did a scene like this where they met at a cafe, it would just be a waste of 3 minutes of your life.
It would be so boring.
Yeah.
Be really boring.
Because the dialogue's not that interesting. It's the basic, oh, you love your job more than you love me, and this is the setup for you going on, but they're having this very mundane conversation, like, over a dead body, and that's
but even better, you have jokes like this.
Bob.
It's Dave. Hello there. It's just like, and even just like the sheer, and I just love even the fact that it's just in the background kind of stuff. Those reactions and like how everything is in the same shot. It's so funny.
Frank Butterman. Oh my god.
Yes. Actually, if I remember correctly, Nick Frost joined this movie on the basis that he could name his character. So Nick Frost is the one who came up with Butterman.
Danny Butterman?
Danny Butterman.
Who's Nick Frost secretly for?
I don't know, but... And then we have this wonderful sequence where he's going away, and then we just... Quiet.
Him with his plans.
Just the sheer sound effect of like, just...
This is you after I bought you a succulent.
Yeah. And also, that's pretty much when I was in the
UK, Model Village.
That's pretty much what it was like. It's like you do nothing for hours and then boom, there's a train. And then,
Yep.
And then or even just taking a bus to
the Swan Hotel.
You didn't notice that before?
Oh yeah, it was. Well, I mean, like I said, I watch these movies so often, but you know, every once in a while I'm just not paying attention to the actual visuals. Like I just have it on in the background because I've seen it so many times. But every single time I pop in any one of the Cornetto trilogies, there's always this one tiny little detail that pops out and makes it all the more funny.
Well, I didn't know it was the Swan Hotel until I started looking around. I think I noticed there were some, like, swan knickknacks and ornaments around the hotel as decoration. And then I was like, oh, it's a hidden swan. And then I realized that was the hotel's theme. But if you look around, you'll find sculptures of them through the movie.
Right on. That's awesome. Oh, wow,
like
really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice. See what I mean? These movies are the rewatchability of these movies is through the freaking roof.
I think I've only seen, like, one or two, but I think when he's in the hallway after he knocks the guy out later.
Right.
There's a swan there sitting on the decorative little table.
Yep.
Being a swan.
Right on.
Watching, protecting the village.
Yep. Man, I love this little back and forth thing.
Bless you.
And seriously, everything.
See, there, right there.
Right on.
There's the swan.
Right on, dude. Oh man, see what I mean? Edgar Wright is so fucking good at his job. Like all these little details seem to just always come back.
And then he's in the castle suite, which doesn't. No, that's the church that falls down later. Never mind. Ignore me.
No, well, I mean that would have been actually kind of cool. Now that I think about it.
Nicholas Angel, Swan, Castle. I mean, it's very, very, very.
I could write a ballet about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's what I like to call the poetry of images. These perfect things that seem to come together really perfectly and he does it so much and so often. It's amazing how you're able to tie virtually every.
There are 6 kids there. I'm sorry. I'm just on.
No.
There's number symbolism in this movie.
Well,
too.
I think aren't there? No, I don't think there are 6. But the hoodie kids get revisited in World's End.
Do they?
Yeah, the kids that they fight at the bar the first time they see
Is
them,
that the same
all,
ones?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're the same actors, but they're definitely all walking down wearing their hoodies in the street intentionally.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, and there's
reflecting.
Marcia. Marcia from Spaced. I really hope you listeners out there have seen Edgar Wright's series Spaced. It's phenomenal. If you're a fan of Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, the Cornetto Trilogy, or anything Edgar Wright, I highly, highly, highly recommend watching Spaced. And several of the original cast of Spaced makes cameos in this one and, well, all 3 of the Cornetto Trilogy. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have this wonderful little moment where we see all the devious, dirty, underage drinkers.
Oh, look, it's Mike.
We have a friend who looks shockingly like that kid with the braces. Like, it's...
I'm just picturing, like, that one time in John Mulaney's, like, skit where he's, like, a sea of drunk toddlers. That's what I imagine that.
Oh, I forgot to send that to you a couple weeks ago.
Oh, the 22nd of February?
I always send that to you on the 22nd of February.
Oh, actually, the thing is, I have a very close friend of mine who lives in L.A. He's one of the sweetest guys I know, and he does visual effects out in Los Angeles. His birthday is the 22nd of February, and I send him that every year. So, if you're listening, Nicholas, yes, his name's Nicholas, which makes it even better. I still love you, buddy. The greater good! The greater good! Everything comes back, I swear. This is awesome.
Oh my god, the whole
And he
bar.
just completely vanquishes his entire business.
And then doesn't even order a second cranberry juice.
Oh, what a dick! Cops are such assholes.
No, I want somebody out there to make a vine of, not a vine. There was an old vine where they're like, are there really good cops? And they're like, come let me show you. And there's just a cop sleeping in his hat next to a sign that says racism is bad. Somebody remake that vine with, like, Danny Butterman. Just, are there really good cops? I'll show you. Shh, he's sleeping. That's what I think of my main boys.
And I really love how that whole plaque thing is setting up a mystery that goes absolutely nowhere.
Well, actually, Danny, you're disobeying the law. You're bad. But I like that Nicholas Angel, I feel like he never uses force exceeding the situation necessary.
Yeah, it's
I don't
true.
think he ever escalates. I don't think he ever kills anybody.
No, actually, that's something, if you go back and watch this whole thing, Nicholas Angel never actually kills anybody. He shoots plenty of them, but none of them actually die.
He uses appropriate force, where sometimes I'm watching an action movie. I think I was watching Night and Day with somebody a while ago. It was like an old Tom Cruise one. And, he's protecting this one woman, and the amount of, like, security guards and random people in cars and, you know, like, henchmen who may be bad, you know, the amount of people who die to save this one girl. At one point, I'm like, let the bitch die. You've just killed 27 people.
You know what else Nicholas Angel is really good at?
Paperwork.
I love these sequences.
I love the little hidden shit in their names in this movie, too. They all have funny names.
Oh, yeah, like, all the suspect...
Peace later.
Yeah, Peace... Oh, my God, Peace Slater comes back, too! That's awesome! But, yeah, man, like, and he also does really cool shit like this. Matching scene transitions. Boom.
The guy in the purple, like, one suit, whatever.
Yeah, the jumpsuit.
Yeah, whatever that fashion's called. He's called Peacocker, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I just had the insanity of this running in a polo.
Yeah, well, when you're put together, you're put together.
Nicholas Angel is just like that professional. He doesn't know how to switch off. Okay? He does not know how to switch off.
You know what I really want to make as well? Oh, there's Simon Skinner.
Hey, James Bond himself. He's a slasher of prices.
I was listening to an interview with, I think, Edgar Wright and Mark Maron on his podcast, WTF. And Edgar Wright said that Simon Skinner is actually based off of the boss that he had when he was 17 or 18.
You're kidding.
In his town, there was a Freemasons society, and his mom was actually really kind of, you know, scared of them in a little bit. Like, are they having a conspiracy? Are they part of the town council? What are they doing? And that kind of inspired him. His boss was a Freemason, but he was really bad at keeping the secret. So every time he was going to go to his little, like, fraternity meeting, he'd be like, Edgar, you have to watch the store. I have a secret meeting that I can't tell you any details about. I wish I could tell you. Like, he was just so proud of being a Freemason.
Like, I'm going to my meeting now.
So he was this over-the-top suspicious guy because of it. He said that he's actually really nice and would always give him time off when he asked, but he was also going to, like, secret cult meetings and just being so excited about a secret cult meeting.
Right. And then here's Frank Butterman. We just arrived. Also, I really love the twins that appear in the box. Nobody tells me nothing. I really love that scene prior to that because, like, every time he looks up, a telephone rings. Again, it's the really, really perfectly timed sound effects that make these scenes way more funny than they have any right to be. Or when they do shit like this.
Is there a thing reaching into frame every movie? We've got the phone and we've got the cake.
And the other one, I think, we'll find out on the next episode. But either way,
next week.
Yeah, but
same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes, but Frank Butterman here. The tour of this is just, God, it really, like, the jokes and the delivery and the speed of it all. It really makes me think of, like, The Simpsons. Of just how, like, absurd and weird and crazy and just precisely funny that it is.
A great big bush.
And also that comes back. So much shit comes back.
Everything comes back. Just assume everything comes back.
Even that.
Even the rat, I think.
He does. The porcupine.
The hedgehog.
The hedgehog.
No, yeah, because we saw Martin Freeman earlier, and now...
I see what you did there. Oh, the Andes. Wait for it.
Wainwright and Cartwright.
That telephone sound is just hilarious. And then we have, like, because, like, the whole introduction thing is probably one of my favorite sequences of jokes. Because there's just so fast and so many that are really funny. Like this.
I just love the cunt.
Cunt is left completely open.
I love just Knob with the little smiley face.
Ding.
The weird thing
That's great.
What were we watching? That really depressing British cop drama where the kid gets murdered.
Broadchurch.
Broadchurch, it's good, but it's so sad and it's so heavy. But also, half the cast of Hot Fuzz is in that police department.
Oh, you're kidding.
Her,
Yeah,
her
she's
Sophie.
in that.
Yeah.
If you want to see that character, isn't she the lead?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is
She's a serious cop.
a very serious cop drama where she's the lead.
Wow, I need to see
And David
this.
Tennant is the out-of-town detective.
I have not
Yeah.
seen this. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's on Netflix. It's really good. Very sad. Bring tissues.
Yeah.
Okay then.
But the amount of cross between this show and that show.
Yeah, like a small town in England. Very similar actors.
Does Simon Pegg and Nick Frost actually show up as like a cameo?
No, but she does, and she's the lead. And there are a couple others. I think the guy who plays Filch, David, I know him as Filch. I know he's got a real name.
Yeah, I know what
he's
you're
in
talking
there,
about.
He's a good character.
He's in there too. I like his character. I feel bad about his end.
The human statue.
The living statue.
God, that's one of my...
Broadchurch is just like the first episode of Twin Peaks where everyone's crying. If everybody just cried for 2 more seasons, that's what
Oh, this is one of my
Broadchurch
favorite
is
jump cuts. Just watch how this goes. Boom! I love that!
Ah.
You know, they make these jump cuts that are so aesthetically pleasing and yet also really funny at the same time. I really need to... I really wish more people would do something like that. And
Because they catch you off guard, they jump you out and put you back in. And
Yeah.
so it breaks the immersion, but if you break the immersion at the right time in a comedy, it helps. And
Yeah.
at the wrong time, it's distracting.
and hell, if you're lucky enough and good enough, it could actually get a laugh.
Oh, yeah. Make it the joke itself. Don't make it distract from a joke.
Mm-hmm. And now I really want chocolate cake.
Now I really want beer, so.
Oh, very good. Yeah, we tend to drink during these, especially since it's the Cornetto Trilogy, because, as you know, there's quite a bit of drinking going on in these movies. There's always a bar, and of course, in those bars is the pinball machine, that the light up
they
pinball.
don't subtitle him.
Oh, they don't. But yeah, they tend to have that one pinball machine that's in all 3 of the bars somewhere, which is a lovely little touch. But man, Andy's such a dick. You got a mustache. But where's this one bit where Danny Butterman comes around where he just like inches in with his chair? That little motion just always makes me really, really laugh.
It's just such an awkward...
Just like an awkward little thing, but it's so really funny and it's really cartoonish. Oh shit, he shot her with a Kalashnikov. Oh, the offender had... Oh yeah, that's actually the point that Andy makes. There's more guns in the country than in the city. That's so a thing.
That comes back, too. The farmer and the farmer's mom.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, but
Spoiler!
And there it is, where he's just inching.
what's it like being stabbed? That's a good meme, by the
This
way.
is like, yes, it
It's the
is.
single most painful experience of my life. All these come back to.
Yes, they do, which is really funny, and one of which we see in Point Break, which is really great. But seriously, we should do Point Break sometime, because Point Break really is like one of the best action movies ever. Keanu Reeves back like in the early '90s just owned really great action movies like Speed and whatnot.
I love older action movies, and I don't have anything against CG because I think that it can be used to enhance a lot of things. But
Yeah.
something about
Or
watching,
hide things.
Yeah, but something about watching, especially I think action movies from the 70s and 80s,
Yes.
is you know everything happened practically.
Yeah, in camera.
Someone
Oh,
was doing their stunts. Someone was making machines to do those stunts.
Yeah,
It's
so
like-
in this millennia, I guess sci-fi and superhero movies have really taken off because we can finally do that. But a car chase isn't exciting if you don't know that there's somebody behind it.
Yeah, when
If Ryan Gosling's not risking his life,
it's not exciting.
well, that's what happens when you just need to make it a little bit more grounded, which is why I really admire.
that comes back too.
Oh yeah, that's
Join us for a shoot someday.
Yep. But when you ground things in reality, which is why I really enjoy Christopher Nolan's method of filmmaking, it just feels more real because it is real. We have a real response to it. And, you know, you look at other films like John Wick, where it's literally just like a bunch of well-choreographed and well-shot stuntmen and cameramen. And when that stuff, you know, is well-choreographed and well-edited and well-shot and well-performed, it's thrilling. So just like, don't hide your shit in shadow. Don't overuse your shaking cam. Just let it be and make it look cool, you know?
I think there was a Nerd Writer episode, I think, about Asian action flicks tend to show the whole punch, hit, react.
Yeah.
Versus American, where it just cuts so much. Where
it doesn't really register, yeah.
Fighting should be choreography, but with more blood. That's what it should be. It should be a ballet of violence.
And there should be, like, actual pain felt, you know?
Oh, yeah, you should cringe just a little bit.
Absolutely, because when you see, like, a guy get, like, you know, double tap shot in the chest and then shot in the face, that should be like, oh, shit.
You shouldn't see the gunfire and then it cut.
Yeah, no.
You know what I really want to watch now?
What's that?
I want to watch The Raid Redemption.
Oh, yes, that'd be an awesome one. Raid Redemption. Let us know in the comments if you want to do that one. But, this is one of my favorite.
That does not come back.
It does not come back, but it is funny as hell. It is really funny.
That's white British you.
Is it? Yeah, it's Tim Messenger. Can you get a photo for the San Francisco? And by the way, I'm not this obnoxious in my photography. I also do photography. All you cats at home. And you know what's really funny about the misspellings? Simon Pegg and Nick Frost deliberately had those misspellings, and they were like, "I will bet you like $500 that's going to come up in like the goose section of IMDb." And it totally did.
Oh, that they wrote it as a goof without...
Yeah!
That's part of the plot, is that Tim can't spell.
Yeah, exactly. And, this is one of my favorite bits. This is straight up Simpsons. Like, this is straight up Moe's Tavern. You know? Mr. Staker, Mr. P. Ian Snaker.
Oh, well, okay, so he does have the castle suite at the Swan and the Swans. And the...
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Staker.
That's right, too. Oh, and fun fact for... you listeners, all those swans in England, technically the reason why they're so important is because all of them are owned by the Queen. So if one gets out, it's kind of a big deal. So in Britain, this is really funny. And by the way, that little every time like Nicholas pulls out his baton and Nick's like, no wait, that 2 seconds always gets a huge laugh out of me. It's just like, I'm gonna get him. No.
You're referring to Nick Frost as Nicholas and Nicholas Angel as Nick right now, and it's confusing.
There's too many
me.
Nicks. There's too many Nicks.
Too many Nicks on the dance floor.
No, actually,
too many Nicks
will spoil the fun.
Too many Nicks on the dance floor. Too many Nicks.
Well, back in college, actually, we had like 5 Nicks in our film department alone. So there were always too many Nicks. But yeah, and of course, and by the way, we also missed our first Cornetto. Yep,
he eats fast, so
he does. A little too fast, especially later on when he's get us back to the station and he gets brain freeze. But it's
the Hound.
The Hound, motherfucker.
We were talking about Game of Thrones before.
Yes, the Hound comes back.
I love this line.
Yeah,
It's my favorite line, guys.
Mom and his sister? No, same person. But yeah, the Cornetto, we have that one's the vanilla one, right? See, look, with Chuck Norris.
Yeah, because it's the strawberry for the zombies and the blood.
Yep.
The original blue for cops and green
vanilla.
for aliens.
Yes. And you've actually had the there's the
I've had the
creepy
strawberry
twins.
Cornetto. It was very good.
Oh,
all the cheese in England was really good too. I just think that they've got an amazing dairy industry.
I'm so jealous. I really want to try one of those on one of the
They're
day.
very good.
Yes.
They make good ice cream there. It was, I think, January and February, and I'm sitting there eating Cornetto. I think Mimi was like, Why?
Because
they don't have it in America. We just have drumsticks.
YARP. Okay, how many of you actually use YARP on a regular basis?
I've used it occasionally.
I use it all the time. All the freaking time.
I've never used it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's really crept into my dialogue is replacement swear words have happened. I've started saying forking. And I think I said Quiznak in public once, and that's
you
just...
have sworn in Quiznak before. Like
Zach called me out on it, and he was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Instead of saying like, "fuck," like I find myself saying fudge, but that's
Fudge.
about it.
Oh, and I love this. Just
Oh, you fudging kidding me?
I had to start saying forking after watching The Good Place.
I love the buzzer sound effect. It's always perfectly timed.
That guy's just the perfect amount of sleazy too, with his whole
Mm-hmm.
vacant stare.
You know, they actually had a hard time getting that take right because the floor was too wet and Simon Pegg kept sliding.
Oh no.
Okay, watch really, really closely. I mean, really close.
Meet the cup that can't.
When he puts down the DVD, there.
Zombie party, I
It's
see it.
literally 2 frames tops. So that's why I love these jokes. They're so friggin' fast. And they're to the point where they become completely subliminal. But yeah, they're there. And and then we have these awesome and you know what's also interesting? We talked about how like a lot of action movies tend to overcut. Here it seems just fine. Isn't that weird?
Oh yeah, it's
like the
almost every time someone turns a corner, but you follow them, you watch them run, you watch them turn.
Well, I mean, if you look in some of the later ones, you notice there are like 5 or 6. There are literally about 3 or 4 full cuts for just one punch. So it gets kind of crazy. It's kind of but so it does really get crazy, or just these like crazy whip pans like you had here. Oh, yes.
He sounded almost seductive.
Fence joke.
Never taken a shortcut before.
I love it. How
I also feel like they practically did this, and then as soon as he ducked under one, he switched
that's
with...
exactly what it would happen. And then
You
this,
go low
and then this
enough.
shit.
Gary King has to be at least 4 beers in before that happens. Does he break a fence in World's End?
Yes. Well, it just topples completely over, like the whole fence goes over. But yeah, I really love the timing on those fence gags. One of these days, if I ever do like
The swan!
The conundrum.
oh damn it,
The swan.
I'll get back for you.
Swan door.
But no, if I ever do like a comedy down the line and I do like a chase sequence, like I am so doing a fence gag for that because, God, these movies are just great. And then I love this. Thump.
Timing, that's the key to comedy, and sometimes timing is waiting a while and then waiting for it to...
Oh yeah, dude, totally. Like you saw that exact same gag in the Lego movie where, you know, Liam Neeson's character, Bad Cop, just like throws a chair and it goes up into the air for like a full 10 seconds before hitting the guy way off in the distance. Yeah. All the names in here have like really cryptic or funny names. Like there's, you know, Slasher, there's Reaper, there's
he's Skinner.
Skinner. Well, yeah, well there's Reaper, there's Skinner, there's all these really just
Butterman.
except for Butterman. Butterman is the only sweetheart because, you know, you butter him up. I guess. I don't know. It's been a day. But now we're getting to this whole thing. And you know, I actually remember
The cake.
Yes, you know, I actually remember showing this to my sister once. She's really big into mysteries and she loves like trying to figure shit out as it goes along.
The amount of red herrings. And
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like
this is definitely not a mystery film because it doesn't set the reader up for the right answer.
No, it totally does. It just completely subverts it into something that's utterly ridiculous but still holds up.
Yeah. But it intends to lead you in a certain way, and if you follow the clues, you figure it out yourself, and the movie knows what it's doing and gives a big fuck you to them at that point.
Exactly, yeah. Which is why I showed it to my sister, and I'm like, there's actually a pretty good mystery in here. And she's like, oh, I know who it is.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but when I'm like, but wait till you see the motivation, because it's not what you think.
Very petty.
You should try watching this movie with my family. They'll be like, so why are they arresting that guy? After they just went through how
Well,
they
that's
arrested
because
him.
you were answering, why did Nicholas Angel have to move? And then when you're done with that, they missed the scene when they were
dude.
arresting that
Exactly,
guy.
that's pretty much what happened.
That's something
Okay.
that you really need to do with this movie is you really have to focus
So
on
who
all
are
these
they
little details.
chasing?
All these little details are so friggin' fast that you really should just like go with it.
And
And
anyone
not-
that wears driver's gloves is a total douche.
They really are, aren't they? That's actually I didn't notice that either. Like I'll just look at like other movies that have characters wearing driving gloves. I think the only exception is Ryan Gosling in Drive.
Well, yeah, because he needs to.
Yeah, well, he's also a stunt driver, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I mean, if you're a professional
And
driver,
But if it's
also
cat-
fingerprints.
Baby immediately threw his driving gloves away, though. Because Edgar Wright knows only douchebags wear driving gloves.
Wow, that's a really astute observation. You know, I actually, no, seriously, like earlier today, I was actually watching an episode of Spaced where Daisy gets hit by a car.
Oh, yeah?
I need to go back and
See
check
if he's wearing
if he's
driving-
wearing gloves.
If you guys are wearing driving gloves, we'll immediately... We just hate you.
Yeah,
We're
Just
judging
fuck
you
you.
right now. Fudge you.
fudge you.
Or should I say fuzz you?
Fork you.
Oh, fork
We
me.
love our listeners. This is all said in jest.
Oh, this is actually probably one of my favorite lessons from Nick Angel. The use of his police book.
This is one of my favorite lessons from Danny Butterman.
Exactly. Wait for it.
I haven't seen such a great blend of 3D and 2D animation since Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I'll tell you what.
Oh my god, that just makes me burst out laughing every time.
I use my notebook too. That's me in college.
Says the art student.
Yeah, but I also took art history classes, and people would come to study sessions with like 10 whole pages of what happened that lecture. And I just had like one word, one date, and a bunch of doodles, and I always did better on the exam. The trick is to actually pay attention in your classes instead of writing.
That's true. Yeah. And you're going to the crappy drama tonight. Yay. Boy, you know, because Martha, I know you're kind of our Shakespeare expert. So
I try to be.
So I take it, you know, watching this performance, this must hurt.
Didn't even take
Yes.
his glasses off.
Nope.
He just, yeah, like, they're trying too hard to mimic Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's...
Yeah, because he's DiCaprio can get away with this because he's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
and just, like, their acting is atrocious.
Well, yeah, of course that's
And she
a
is
joke.
missing her lines. I've read this scene enough to, like, no.
Actually, that's really clever if he wrote it with them skipping, missing, or fucking up lines.
Yeah, like it's not
That only a Shakespeare person
like the
would pick up.
I didn't
mistakes.
say bang!
Like the mistakes actually, you know, build on the joke instead of work against it.
Well, because I could totally understand, like, just copy-pasting the Shakespeare play,
Yeah.
and that's your lines for the next couple things, and I know that they just copy-pasted the words in the Baz Luhrmann one. So, to have them miss lines or make mistakes would be very clever. Now, if they just skipped lines, that's timing, but
Yeah.
if they intentionally messed stuff up...
Tim Messenger sucks
Yeah,
as a journalist.
Yeah, and just also, like, how they went from, like, the suicide scene directly to... And that... The dance scene, and that's traditional in Shakespeare to, like, have a little dance and a jig at the end to, like, kind of get you out of, like, the mood, like, to remind you that this was a play.
That's what comic relief is called, relief.
And
Yes.
it's, like, it's just to bring you back to reality, but they totally skip, like, the ending monologue that closed up the story.
Well, yeah, they had to
It's
throw in a
like,
joke for us.
Yeah.
Because that was fucking boring, man. And worse yet, that was...
Wright knows his Shakespeare and how it's supposed to be done, apparently.
Well, yeah, of
He's
course.
seen enough plays to know that it's like...
Well, of course. I mean, like, didn't they say that towards the end of that was like they were at like the 3-hour mark? I mean, God.
Murdered real Shakespeare.
God, the cryptic remarks are just
Just
hilarious.
I can hear his voice, and we're watching this on music. I can hear himself I can hear his voice when
Just,
he says that.
yes.
Everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody. Every woman I've shown this film to wants to bang Simon Skinner hard.
That's alright. It's the voice. It's the noise.
Do they have things for Golda Man?
It's the sultry baritone and the British accent.
Every girl I met would let Simon skin her.
Very good.
But cha.
Well, I mean I guess that does lend to being James Bond and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Because like any man who's played James
He's
Bond,
an attractive man.
exactly, and
But
has
he's so creepy.
In this film, yes.
Yeah.
You could
but-
tell Timothy
and,
Dalton
like-
must have been just having a fucking ball.
And he still has his eyeliner on. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's like you're too old to be emo.
Just stop it. But it's okay because remember he might be a douchebag, but at least he's going to finally get that.
I like that Danny Butterman explains that they recapped things.
Bye. And of course, this sequence is kind of harkening back to his Shaun of the Dead kind of stuff. A little bit more of a horror vibe to it. They even have the. Oh, actually, you know what would be really cool? Can you imagine if Edgar Wright actually directed Cabin in the Woods?
Oh my god.
That would have been amazing.
Oh my god.
Now I'm thinking, oh wow. With all due respect to the makers of Cabin in the Woods, because I fucking loved
That's a
it.
Joss Whedon film, right?
Well, Joss Whedon wrote it. He did not direct.
Oh, okay.
Matthew Goddard was the one who directed it. But now, oh man, I kind of wish that Edgar Wright directed it, because there would have been like 10 more really great, funny deliveries in there. So no disrespect to Matt Goddard, but damn, that script was tailor-made for Edgar Wright.
Oh man. They had one good background joke in it. It's if you pause in Cabin in the Woods and you read all the stuff that they bet on.
Yes!
That
That's
comes
one of my
back
favorite
later.
things.
I don't think that they say everything verbally, but you see everything that's written down.
There's one on that board that I still find is what a mystery it is.
What?
It's just Kevin. Kevin is a thing. Kevin is never explained. And I like the fact that Kevin is never explained.
I like the stupidly cutesy Japanese horror that they do in that one. Where
Yes.
It's like, and now your soul is put in this frog, and you can tell it free, Yukiko. And they're like, God damn it! A group of grade schoolers just beat us.
Fuck
America,
you!
idiot.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! How hard is it to kill 8-year-olds? Well, it must be pretty.
There's a story more well than this of Julian.
Yes.
That's the ending line of the play.
Yes.
So
But-
you do get to hear the ending line.
Oh,
Only
yeah, see?
Simon Skinner had to deliver it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense
that makes
because
it better.
which makes sense because he's kind of the one. And if you listen really closely to the music that's playing,
Oh,
it's the
everyone
song Romeo and Juliet, which is, of course, very fitting. But also, didn't you love how overtly gory all of the crime scenes in this movie are?
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of gore, but when it is, it's in your face. And it's right after a joke too. It's like decaffeinated and then boom.
It's
Fuck.
and all of them
Fork.
are.
I'm swearing too much.
Well, I mean, it's just no. Who cares? We say fuck a lot. So
Oh, we do, but I say fuck more when I drink, so I'm apologizing.
But and then here's another really fun, little tiny joke that a lot of people miss. Aaron A. Aronson.
Aronson,
And then, of course, later on, that
he's
kid?
a good child.
The little kid that he says, "What's your name?" Aaron Aronson. Pardon? I love how that little tiny shit comes back, man.
Is Martin Blower another funny name?
Yes, yes, it is. All of their names are just friggin' hilarious.
Oh my gosh. These two detectives, you just want to punch them. They just scream.
Yeah, but they're
douchebag.
endearing. Honestly, I really find them endearing. Especially, it's kind of hard to be mad at two men named Andrew that you call the Andys.
Well, and they're not nice people, but I can feel okay, nothing's ever happened in this town ever, and they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I can kind of sympathize with not giving a fuck and having this guy suddenly start caring about his job around you.
Yes.
Because whenever you work minimum wage and somebody comes in and cares about their job, you're like,
no.
stop.
This little sequence, this one just tiny scene, is probably one of my favorites in this whole movie. Just, you can't understand a word he's saying, and then this shit happens. And I also love, if you really look closely, when he gives them that look, you hear the sheep in the background. The sound timing is just fucking hilarious. And I know I'm missing quite a few because there's like a zillion of them.
And I just have to say that, like, British police look much less intimidating with their sweaters than American police do.
Well, you're just not intimidating if you're wearing like a bobby hat. Those are
it's like,
cute.
I remember when I was in
You
London.
stop me for
Oh,
a traffic
shit.
ticket, I'd be like, "Aww,
Damn.
hello." I mean, hello there.
Damn.
Yeah.
I also love how they clearly double cut, but
Hey,
it's
it's
still.
my dad's garage.
I also really love how they completely double cut on a lot of those shots just to make it look even bigger than it actually is. But yeah, that's just awesome. And
You know, they do that a lot in reality TV.
Yes.
Like, they'll shoot, like, 2 parts of the house that are right next to each other, but it looks like 2 different rooms.
yeah, but this is just to like really make it crazy, and then this shit starts happening.
Click, 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 click.
Don't hoard weapons, kids.
Run! Also, what really notice the blocking? Like, he actually goes behind the thing where they actually jump into what seems to be better cover. So the blocking is completely unrealistic, but it adds to the comedy so much.
I don't know if that structure on the left might be protective.
No, well, he's in between the structure and the explosion.
Oh, so in your mind it looks like he's hiding behind it, but that's not what he's hiding.
Yeah.
The bomb is right there. Okay.
Yeah, which is, it doesn't make sense from a blocking standpoint, but from a visual standpoint in relation to where the camera is, it works so much funnier.
You know what's another funny little gag that I love?
What's that?
How lazy their passwords on the evidence.
Oh my god, right?
I think it's just like 111 and then 999.
Why not 1, 2, 3, 4 at that point?
Oh, you know what's interesting also? Are you sure one of them isn't 777? Because 777 is actually Nicholas Angel's police badge number.
That would be interesting to go back and see. I mean, I know that one that they just did right now was 999.
Yes.
But it would also be funny if everything was just 111, 777,
Yeah.
222.
Well, maybe that is, because maybe...
Wait, isn't like 999 like their like 911 number in the UK? So like the fact that it's
Possibly?
999
I don't know.
for their code.
99!
Yeah, 99.
Maybe in Germany. But...
No, I'm making Brooklyn Nine-Nine references. I'm in the
Oh, I
cop
see,
codes. There
okay.
we go.
But yeah, 777 I really love because, they're just like playing up Nicholas Angel, like, instead as opposed to 666, it's 777, so it's more angelic and more saintly as Nicholas Angel has been seen, just like this overtly good cop. So
I feel like I don't know my, religious numerology. I think 333 is
That's a good
heavenly.
number. That's like.
But does 777 mean anything besides luck?
I don't remember that one. I know 333 is kind of like it's a lucky number. It means the angels are on your side. So is 999. 666 is the one you have to watch out for.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah. Same with 3 1s is also a lucky number. I'm not sure about 777.
okay,
777.
because I just think that
I
might
don't
have
know
some
my
kind of
Catholic
reference.
numerology very well.
Yeah. But and then we have the wonderful little backstory between them, which Nicholas Angel talks about how he wanted to become a police car, and
Police car.
You want to be a police car?
Except for when
Oh
I
my-
was 7 and I wanted to be Kermit the Frog.
well, what's actually I don't know if it works better or worse, but I kind of want to see a tiny little Nicholas Angel in a pedal car.
You know what? They make childhood flashbacks. They made a pup named Scooby Doo and all
They
that.
did.
I would watch a children's animated series about a tiny baby Nicholas Angel who solves all the crimes and does all the good.
And gets beaten up by bullies in a
Oh
little
yeah, no,
pedal car.
everybody at school fucking hates him because he's a dick. But he's a good dick.
He's the hot.
That's why he solves crimes so well. He's a good dick.
But actually, if I'm not mistaken, when he's packing up his stuff to go to the village, there might have actually been a photograph of him in the pedal car.
Yeah, I saw
Was there?
that.
There
when
was?
When he was packing
Oh,
up from the-
okay, cool. Because that's oh man, I still kind of want to see a flashback. Oh wait, I love this. But no, I kind of want to see a flashback with these two, akin to their running gag flashback on Spaced, where they just kind of look up and they're in the tree, and that's never explained. If anyone out there has seen Spaced, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That fucking flashback tree joke always comes back, and it gets increasingly hilarious as the series goes by, and it's never solved.
I think I'll bring it up again because some people might not have been able to stomach the sound and audio on our first episode, but Spaced is on Amazon Prime right now if you have that for free, and then if you don't have that, it's on YouTube for free right now.
Yeah, the quality's not as good, but
it's you don't have to give Jeff Bezos your money and your dick and
yes, fuck you. Big fuck you to a real life Lex Luthor, but
even though I still pay him $100 a year to.
And then of course there's the game that appears in all of them, getting pissed on Yahoo.
Man.
So that looks like you after St. Patrick's Day.
That looks like me after like every Saturday. My grandparents came into town this weekend. They're 75, and we went bar hopping, and I got tired first. I was the one who's like, oh, I've had 8 beers. I want to go to sleep.
How many beers were they on?
8, same amount, but they were ready to go for more.
Wow.
They probably, they're older. They built up their liver tolerance.
No, but the fact that they still have livers.
I just looked at the numerological meaning of 777. The number of hidden inner wisdom, force in the universe that is giving your life a particular shape.
Well,
so that fits like his character.
That totally does. Yeah, you're right.
He shaped his own destiny, which we explained with with the pedal car thing.
Yes.
So,
I always love it. This tends to be me when I'm like, just another cup of coffee. How about another beer? That's actually my hook on how to get you to stay, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Just another beer? Sure. I also really love how they handle him when they get him home. He's like, "What do I owe you? 20 quid? Thank you, sir. And there's your change. God bless you." I love that. And then this is the shot, or this like whole blocking setup, where I'm convinced this is where you really get to see how freaking close Nicholas Angel and Nick Frost are.
We're just gonna let the moment happen.
Yeah, because
they're just gonna snuggle.
They really do, because this is true friendship here.
Did they like share a bed?
Yes, they did. Like for real. Like, because at first they were like being all macho about it, and they're like, "Well, we only have this one bed, and we're super poor, so we can't afford to get anything. We're just gonna sleep, foot to head." But they kept kicking each other and got tired of that, and they said, "You know what? Fuck it, we're gonna snuggle." And so they're just like super duper duper uber close. And this shit right here is where you almost half expect them to just freaking make out.
Oh yeah, he leans in for the kiss.
He does, and it's hilarious.
It's great.
Because they're playing off that, like, their relationship with one another.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm thinking?
No, and it's so beautiful. I was watching, there was a little Karibo. Wait.
Look deep into
their
eyes.
I can show you how.
Kiss!
But he leans in for a second.
He does.
Little Karibo, the guy who did Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, did this thing called Fanfiction Friday, which I used to listen to a lot, where people gave people, I think, 2 characters and a scenario that they were in, and they were forced to write a short story. But my favorite line from any one of those, like, improvisational stories was, Nicholas Angel woke up, like the sun shining on his face. He looked over at Danny Butterman, his partner-in-law, and his partner in life.
Oh, by the way, that DVD collection that Nick Butterman opens up and just like
Butterman.
Danny Butterman. I'm sorry.
Danny boy.
There's too many Nicks. But that Danny opens up and there's like all these DVDs. That's actually all of Nick Frost's, the producers, Edgar Wright's, and Simon Pegg's DVD collection at the time. Like, all of their DVDs, they stuffed into that one room.
Did you know this was the most expensive scene to film in the whole movie?
Was it?
Yes.
You're kidding.
How much did they have to pay them to do that?
Well, they had to get, like, not just the licensing rights for Point Blank.
Point Break, yeah.
Point Break, I'm sorry. But they had to get permission from Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, and one other person.
Oh, wow.
As Patrick Swayze is climbing up that gate.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually a stuntman. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
had to find that man and track him down and get permission.
Wow.
They paid more money for, like...
Those two references than anything else.
Yes.
Wow.
And, yeah.
Well, you know what? It's totally worth it because that moment that comes back later is
Oh,
just fucking
it's so
brilliant.
perfect.
It's fucking brilliant.
So, yeah, I think between...
I wonder if they
the
had to
scene
do...
from Point Break, the scene from Bad Boys 2, and him staring at that wall of DVDs in
Yes.
the store later on in the film,
Yeah.
those 3 scenes might have cost more than the rest of the film combined.
Wow.
But Edgar Wright did it anyway.
Well, yeah, because the joke is so fucking
'Cause
worth
it's a
it.
solid joke.
And plus, like, some of the other stuff just would not work as well because when you see that shot of Bad Boys 2 when it's like the low telephoto swooping kind of shot that he's really famous for.
Swoop
they-
low with the telephoto.
Exactly.
No Brockheimer
It
at work
works
solo.
solo.
It's all about the money.
But yeah, when that comes back, they do the exact same shot. It's literally the exact same composition, the same motion, and they even pump it up, like using the background to their effect and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we had Skinner again on visiting the crime scene with fire to destroy you.
But we were saying about how much we might not like Michael Bay or the dumb action fix, but this is a love story to all of those tropes. And
Yeah.
how well they can work when applied, right?
Yes.
I mean, everybody wants to see an explosion. We'd prefer to see it in a good movie, but that's something that people just find delicious.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I love this.
Spacemen, I think they're gay. Spacemen way too
Are the
much time.
Andes?
Oh, the Andes.
Are we Andy shipping?
Oh, we
Yes.
might be. Ooh.
I
I will
think-
go with this.
Hot Fuzz needs more slash fic.
I
think we
pretty
need
much insane.
More in Danny Nick. I think we need more, like, Andy squared.
Andy squared. I like that. That's now headcanon lock.
It's Andy. The Andys are in a secret relationship. They don't tell anyone because they're in a small town.
Yeah.
But they love their mustaches.
One of their
Oh,
fathers
Andy, that
builds
tickles.
carts. The other one grows apples, and they put the apples in the carts. And
This is really beautiful. I'm loving this.
I
Write this shit, people.
We
Please,
dare you to write this
in the
fanfic.
comments, link me to your erotic homosexual Hot Fuzz fanfiction.
Oh, then it can be really Hot Fuzz.
I read an erotic fanfiction called Hot Fuzz, but that was about Zootopia. So
And, well, that actually makes sense because Judy Cop's a cop.
Judy Hopps.
She's a cop.
She is a cop.
Splat the rat. Splat the rat. I
The
wonder who...
Zootopia fandom just makes too many Hot Fuzz jokes, though, in
Yeah.
general.
Well, I mean, it's really easy because, God, this movie is so
Even
fucking
though I
amazing.
feel like it was based off 48 Hours Later.
Yeah.
I feel like Nick Wilde is just Eddie Murphy, who's not voiced by Eddie Murphy.
Pretty much, he's just voiced by Bateman.
Wild Hops sounds like not a ship. That sounds like the name of like a beer that I'd buy.
Wild Hops.
Wild Hops, I would buy that beer.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a really awesome
We're
spin-off.
giving you ideas, Disney.
Yeah.
Or furries who own breweries. Like,
Yeah, well, if we're giving them the
yeah.
idea, copyright that shit. Because,
copyright Wild Hops, Hannah Stupnitsky.
yes, because we want money for that.
Bleep my real name when you edit it.
Okay.
Bleep my real name.
But anyway,
Bleep, 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 bleep. Now
thank you.
know.
Oh, and I love this little thing that comes... Well, first off, I love Danny's outfit. Because you actually see him as a little kid in a little cowboy costume.
Oh, yes, you see it in the photo. In
It's
the
so
background.
cute.
Danny's such a baby boy. I want to protect him.
His
And then this
dad-
shit, boom, 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 boom. Perfect prize. That's so awesome. And then this shit happens. Bam. He's a doctor. He'll
See,
deal
Danny
with it.
was just so overwhelmed by holding Nicholas's hot rod that he exploded early and all
Don't-
over the place.
Don't worry, he's a doctor. He can deal with it. Which I
Stop
love.
interrupting my erotic fanfiction scene. Why do we
Oh.
always talk about like these two together every time we do a
Well, I mean,
podcast?
because they're so freaking close and they make fun of that.
They play it up for the...
For the comedy, man. Like, even in Paul.
Like, whenever
which-
we're talking
Oh yeah,
about
they
this,
thought they were a couple in Paul.
Yeah, because, like, well, I mean, Paul was actually written by Simon Pegg. It was one of those movies where you feel like it's like a distant, like a very close cousin of these three movies. But it's not within the immediate family because Edgar Wright was not involved.
And Seth Rogen snuck in there and was
Yes.
like, hey, do you guys love weed and hate Jesus?
Yes.
Because I do.
Yeah, Seth does that a lot.
He gets a little heavy-handed, but it's still pretty funny.
Yes, it is. But you mean just like the timing and like the sound, like the filmmaking. When you look at certain scenes in Paul, there's like some like very similar scenarios that you would see in the Cornetto Trilogy, and when you watch them back to back, Paul feels off because Edgar Wright's not there to give that style the weight that Simon Pegg brings to the script. So it's kind of like seeing like a Coen Brothers movie that they wrote but they didn't direct, and the timing feels off.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that it takes away from the experience at all.
But if you go in there expecting a Cornetto Trilogy style film, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Go in there and expect a film that Simon Pegg wrote, and you'll have a fine time with Paul.
Mm-hmm. And here comes like the next murder. This is definitely the most grisly. And
I remember this from when I was 12. I saw that. This was the scene that made me sit down and watch the rest of the movie. It was just playing at a party, and I was like,
not interested. And
no
then
more games, no more drinks. Shh.
And then this shit happens. Just bam.
If you pause it, it's like the worst CGI you'll ever see.
It is, but but that's kind of what makes it funny.
Pyramid head.
Oh, look how shitty the CGI was. I love it.
But it's brief, and it's gory, and it's over the top.
Yeah, it's because it's so over the top, you're like willing to just run with it. Because that's actually like a really good trick. If you don't have much of a budget, play up the comedy and play up how crazy and over the top is. Your audience will totally forgive you because you're like, oh, it's that kind of movie.
Well, because half of the time you watch a violent movie, you're there for the fun of the violence.
Yes.
Some violent movies are meant to be heavy. Some are meant to be somewhere in between. I never know if I'm supposed to be, like, scared or having a blast when I'm watching certain Quentin Tarantino deaths.
Yes.
But a lot of violent movies, people are there to laugh at the deaths. So feel free to make your death look a little less cool because people are there to have fun.
Yeah. So, and now we got the whole team getting back on doing the CSI and ruining their good time because Nicholas Angel just doesn't know how to fucking switch off. Even though it was clearly an accident, am I right?
Clearly.
You know what to do. And I like how he still has his cowboy hat on.
Well, not only does he still have his cowboy hat on, but he still has the monkey.
Oh, I didn't know that was his...
I
just thought they had like two different types of cop hats on. I didn't realize he has this little costume.
He does.
With the little rain protector on it.
It's so adorable.
Danny's such a... I would adopt him. He's my son now.
And of course the Andys still have to ruin it because
they're wearing their matching couples glasses.
Yes. Matching couples glasses and matching mustaches. Is that like... I think that's supposed to be like another trope. Like...
mustaches?
Particularly detectives with sunglasses and mustaches who are assholes. Like, I think that's supposed to be like a general like cop trope that they're making fun of.
Does the cop that pulled him over in World's End have a mustache?
I
know he has sunglasses.
don't
for sure.
think so, but he's not a dick.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be a dick in any stretch of the imagination.
And then, are there any cops in Shaun of the Dead?
I don't think so, not really. There's some military at the end, but they're not really like supposed
I like
to be
how he
anything.
runs away.
Yeah, just the way he runs away.
It's the saddest little thing. Go apologize to your platonic boyfriend, Nick. God damn it.
You know, whenever we start talking about them as a couple, I immediately think of Frank and Gerard. It's like, that's probably all it was, but people just like went over the top with it.
Oh, yeah. Or like Septiplier or whatever, you know. Like, you see celebrity couples that people get into, and I'm not, I'm not there to ship, I'm not here to ship Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in any way, like, as real people. I just think that their rapport is so good, and they know each other so well, that I've said before, I would love them to star in a romantic comedy together.
Yeah, that would be actually kind of cool.
I would watch that.
Because I know that, are they working on something like currently?
I don't know.
I feel like they are
I'm not
because
up to date in news.
I know Nick Frost is starting a comedy not too long ago. I forget what it is, but I know it has to do with like a boarding school or whatnot. Anyone in the comments just like correct me because I know I've seen the trailer like eons ago and I know it's out there. I just haven't watched it yet. But I actually hear that it might just be a rumor. I could be completely talking out of my ass, but Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are gearing up for another project. Whether or not Edgar Wright is involved, I don't know. But it'd be wonderful to see, those three chaps to work together again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or just any of those two chaps, it'll be good.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I mean, even when they do their solo thing, it's bound to be pretty cool. Like, Simon Pegg was actually one of the writers on Star Trek Beyond, and I actually really like that movie a lot.
But Simon Pegg was originally the actor. He was going into stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And Edgar Wright had him be in on some of his films, and Nick Frost was just his friend at that point. But It was like, this guy's really funny. Let him be in this space show that we're doing. He can do impressions. He does this military guy that's really funny.
Yep.
And that just became
and plus they just had really good chemistry that worked for the show.
Oh yeah, but that just became Nick Frost's acting career was, his friend saying, whatever opportunities I'm in,
I want this guy to go.
I'm dragging you along with me. I'm dragging you up the ladder with me.
Which is wonderful. And I really love this whole long spew that goes by really fast. It's like a legit mystery explanation when you sit down and read the whole thing. And then, of course, it just gets completely thrown out.
But it's very like the third act of an Agatha Christie type thing. Where it's like, we're putting everything together.
And it's just awful. And poor Nicholas Angel is just like, oh my god.
Fake tits.
Are you going to do that for my next birthday?
Maybe, but never in the workplace. Like, see, that's something that isn't crazy inappropriate for a birthday party, but is wildly inappropriate for the workplace, which just shows how seriously they all take their job versus he won't say the force versus the service, where they'll be like,
fuck it, it's cool.
We'll do some casual sexual harassment. Why? Because we only have one female employee and she says she's cool with it.
I've been around the station a few times myself.
I know.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't offend her, but it's totally against the guidelines.
Yep. But either way, it doesn't fucking matter.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Put in the swear jar. And now we have oh god, what was it? What was her name? Mrs. Was Reaper?
Kitty?
I think so. But she's kind of explaining how her real estate is actually turned into a lot better, and she's leaving out. And just beforehand, she, spoilers. I mean, obviously, if you've been with us this far, pretty much the whole movie left and right. So this woman is dead.
And if you haven't seen this movie before, this was a mistake.
Yeah. What are you doing?
We're spoiling everything.
What are you doing?
We're here for lonely repeat watchers. Who are you?
That really is kind of our audience, isn't it?
I'm a lonely repeat watcher.
Oh, boy.
And when I'm in my studio, that's what I do. Is I'm like, should I watch a new film?
Nah.
That would acquire attention. So I'm
going back to your comfort movies.
I'm going to watch The Fall for the 87th time.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the plants, have any of you actually had a Japanese peace lily?
No, we've just got a succulent. Like, we can't keep cactuses alive. We water them too much.
Or not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We've
kept a time plant alive, but I think we've run out of time.
We've killed... Shut up. We've killed the same sage plant like 8 times. It just comes back to life and then dies, and comes back to life and dies.
Oh shit, we got another chase going.
Jump through.
See what I mean? Like, all these crazy, fast cuts. It's crazy. Because again, you generally want to show shit and whatnot and just, let things play out in a wide angle, because that's what we usually define for really good action movies. But I think that really doesn't matter here because it's emulating that style.
Well, the thing is, if you want to make something stressful and confusing, you add a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
It's stressful and confusing for the audience. It's hard for us to follow. Which can be very bad if you're trying to watch well-choreographed action and see some violence. But if you actually want to make your audience members feel confused, afraid, and panicked, it can be used sparsely and very, very well.
Yeah. Well,
So-
in this case, I just feel like it's just...
Or it can be used for comedy.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's just using this as like a visual language or like a visual base. No, really? She was fucking murdered! Thank you. Thank you.
I know you spilled the swear jar.
I spilled the
You
swear
spilled
jar.
swears all over the place.
Thank you, Danny.
Nah, but I think my point is don't ever use anything as a default. Always have intention whenever
Yeah.
you're doing anything.
Exactly. And
No cliche is wrong if you're turning to it because you like it.
Yeah.
If you like it because it's drama-filled and you like dumb drama, then it's going to be a good soap opera, a good reality TV show. If you turn to a cliche because you're used to it, then it's lazy. So even if it's corny or for not a good reason, just do everything with intention.
Yeah.
If you like a cliche, don't be afraid of the cliche, but
Embrace that cliche.
know it's a cliche.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just do it because it's easy.
Yes, and they clearly know exactly what they're doing here. And yes, Nicholas, you are completely mad at this point.
Yeah, he's at an angle instead of an angel.
He's at an angle.
Yeah, I low-key confess to watching reality TV in front of your film major demographic.
Well, who gives a shit?
Oh, I know.
Like-
Most of it's good if it's made by Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
oh,
damn
yeah.
right. Or like
Right.
competitive.
Or it's the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah, I watch cooking shows and competition shows, and occasionally rednecks doing odd jobs I didn't know that existed.
Alligator wrestling.
Oh my god, I watch the Gator Boys so much. I don't care about any person in any movie as much as I care about alligator welfare now.
But seriously, if you watch TMZ, fuck off.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that shit.
Fuck off.
Rich people being petty reality TV show. I
Yes.
want to watch people that can do shit I can't do.
Exactly.
So let's go learn how to wrestle an alligator.
Oh my,
Nope.
I'm 3 feet tall, I'd die.
Well, why don't we just instead go take a look at Mr. Skinner?
That secretary is me.
Oh,
at
this
work.
Oh my god.
Mr. Skinner.
The manager's office. Mr. Skinner.
You would play a really good secretary, I think. Just like the one that just gives absolutely no fucks. None.
I'm surprised customers thank me.
It's out of obligation.
Yeah. But, and again, like this whole mystery that goes up here, that when you actually piece it together the way Nicholas has, it totally falls in line with all the clues that they set you up for.
I don't know if this means anything to you. Interpret this through your film major mind. Simon Skinner's the only one in warm lighting in this scene. Everybody else has the
Of
fluorescent
course,
white
he's
light.
Beautiful.
Well, everyone else has the fluorescent white light of the grocery store, but he's got the desk lamp on his face, so he's got that orange glow that's actually a little more of an attractive lighting, so I don't know if that...
That might just be because it's possible. I mean, because there's a lot more control that goes along, but I feel like, yeah, you're right. I almost feel like that's kind of a signal, like a visual signal that he's in control, but it's also because of his desk lamp that kind of does it.
Yeah, but the desk lamp was put there by the director.
Yes.
It's not just a desk lamp
I just love his face in
happened to
this.
be in the set that they chose. But yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too, is everybody else is...
It's kind of like, it gives him a little bit more of a sinister edge, like, you know, like more warmer, hellish colors. That and I think it's to signify that he's kind of the one in control, whereas all the cops in his presence
And then
don't
you
need shit.
You see Nicholas Angel lean into the warm light for a
Yes.
second too when he thinks that he's in control.
And then
But I just love the lighting in the grocery store anyway because it's that unflattering white light. That's...
Yeah, the really ugly fluorescent blue lighting, just like nasty and soul crushing and. God, I for any viewers out there that actually work in a grocery store, I'm so sorry.
For any viewers that manage clothing stores, can I say, you need warm lights in dressing rooms.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're in a white light and you look like a freaking pale whale, I've never bought a bathing suit like in a retail store before. Because I go into the dressing room and I'm like, okay, I look like pockmarked ivory. Fuck this.
Have your shit well lit, man.
Put in warm lighting. Warm lighting makes you look so hot.
That's why
Put a Himalayan salt lamp in your room. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty today.
that's why I really like to control my own lighting. I like to light my place with lamps
Oh yeah.
and warm colors and whatnot, more inviting and a little bit more contrasty. But anyway,
Yeah, fuck the environment. I want to look cute. Okay.
there's the team. I love how the team is always, or like anytime the team is referenced, there's always that buzzer noise.
I love little B teams like that. Like
Yeah.
when you watch a TV show and you see, here's the cool group of 5.
Evil twins.
You've got the twins. You've got
Yep.
Lurch.
There's
You've got the girl.
They're actually in all 3, somewhere. I think they're like
not the same twins.
No, they're not. But well, the twin. They're the actors themselves. The 2 twin actors. They are in all 3. I think they're like background blanks, like way off in the distance. But yeah, Edgar Wright has a very strange fascination with creepy twins in all 3 of them. You have the biker zombie twins. You have the butcher twins in this one, and then in the third one, of course, you have the twins and the 2-headed dog.
Are the biker twins and the butcher twins the same twins?
I
Actor-wise?
don't actors. No, I don't think
And
so.
are they the same as the candlestick maker twins?
Now that possibly. Oh, and I love this little shot right here.
Yeah,
Just
the picture
love
of
his
himself.
picture.
deed. But the sound, but not just the framing of that, but it's also the sound effect. It's the wrong buzzer. It's
almost like the buzzer, like the bell in a store. D is also like, you're wrong and you suck.
exactly.
Oh.
God, can you imagine if that ever happened? Because at work we have
We
like
have the same bell.
yeah, so it'd be really funny if it goes off at a really perfectly timed moment and we just flash to Hot Fuzz.
You know what I'm thinking? It's that scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they hit the wrong buzzer every time Dennis answers the wrong question on Family
This
Feud.
is not represent me.
Can you stop with the noise, please?
There's the hound again. YARP. Oh, and then this is a little rebuttal that I like to use in my daily life. Jog on. Jog on. So, YARP. That's still one of my favorite things. But yeah, he's totally and poor Nicholas Angel, he's just totally defeated at this point. He just
chugs his white wine.
he doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Badass.
He's complete. Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. But yeah, he's given up. It's over. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna blend into just give into the police station and not give a fuck.
I love how that guy's coat comes back
Yes, yes, it is.
If
You
you-
want anything from the shop? Cornetto.
Well, like how they're like, what do you think is under his coat? It's like, is he concealing a weapon? And Danny's like, nah, he's just like that.
Uh-oh.
Then later he's concealing a weapon.
All the weapons.
Epiphany moment. Killers.
With the
So it's the one
cornetos.
killer, actually.
That's the one killer, actually.
Oh,
One
shit.
killer, actually. One killer,
This moment I just always kills me.
I love that
Wait.
he's got just such a messy fucking face, too. Both of them just have ice cream all over their face. Where
No, the brain freeze. He just shoves it in. Oh!
I like Simon Pegg delivering this very serious line when he's just got, like, everything all over his lips.
Like his lips, yeah. There's more than one killer. I've got this. It's all a conspiracy, man.
And that's when he delivers the twist. You're dying, Satine. New movie.
Oh, I gotcha.
Movie.
I gotcha. But also,
my worst joke with my worst
I also
joke.
love how he said that's what the previous guy said, and guess where he wound up?
We find where...
Yes, we do. We find where all the bodies are.
Great big bushy beard.
Oh, great! Well, I mean, first off, that works as a really funny, just like, what the fuck joke.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a great way to identify the corpse later.
Oh my god, you don't even need to know anything about
Well, I mean,
crusty juggalos.
Well, I mean, they still kind of bring that up, like, they'll use the audio in there, but that visual bit just helps it so much.
The funniest thing down there is the
The fucking
living
statue who's still got his eyes open.
Oh my god. This movie alone has made, like, street performers, like, so much better.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, they use this shot where he goes into his like little temporary hotel thing.
Yeah, you see the swan every time.
But yeah, that's the thing. I'm amazed. I never noticed the swan. It shows up like 5 or 6 times throughout this movie, and I never noticed the swan.
So
Thank you, Martha, for constantly revealing this awesomeness here.
Anna revealed the swan.
Oh, you did reveal the
Yeah.
swan? Oh, I could.
I thought there were multiple swan things, but it's just the one swan actually.
Very nice. And of course, oh man, actually, you know what would be kind of cool if in the last season of Game of Thrones, Simon Pegg shows up in a cameo and we have a scene with him and the Hound.
Oh,
That would actually be kind of cool. Playtime's over, bitch. Knocks him out.
Destroys the peace lily.
Yep.
I love that it's a peace lily too.
Oh yeah, of course, and more irony to it. But this little bit right here is he's not gonna get up now, is he? Yarp. Yarp. Oh boy. Oh man.
Oh, that's why they put him in the castle suite, so that he can say proceed to the castle and he can look at the picture of the castle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, the writing on this is just so freaking tight. What now? Because in case people are still like a little janky about the bad audio from the first episode, but didn't you say like in like every
line he writes is either a joke, develops the plot, or establishes character,
or just like comes back as another joke,
or is foreshadowing. Yeah. No line is wasted. There's never any filler in Edgar Wright.
No fat whatsoever. He is really. They are both really
lean and trim like Simon Pegg.
And
yes.
Most of the things I mentioned are usually like 2 things on the list. It's either funny and a foreshortening joke, or it starts as a serious scene and is visited later in a joke, or it's said earlier as a joke and it comes back in a serious scene.
Yes, everything.
Hey, they're at Hogwarts.
Yeah, it does kind of look
or
like
the Death
Hogwarts,
Eaters,
doesn't it?
I don't know.
No, they kind of no. I mean, they're not. You're not wrong. I mean, it does kind of give that vibe. Although I love the flashlights.
Let's hold our flashlights.
I freaking love the flashlights.
So cheesy.
That's so
and
stupid.
chants things.
I love that, but yeah, it's the
They
whole.
do put the subtitles what they're chanting. What are they chanting? I forget.
Oh, I forget. But
whatever. Something in Latin.
Yeah, whatever.
So, they say TARDIS. That's all I remember.
They do not say TARDIS.
They say something that sounds like TARDIS.
I believe that.
Well, whatever it is, I'm sure it's all for the greater good. The greater good. But yeah,
I was on Reddit and I think that there was somebody from Liechtenstein who was bragging about how their country hasn't had a murder in over 20 years.
Yeah.
And people just kept spamming them with Hot Fuzz.
The greater good.
I think you saw like the British people of the internet and the American people of the internet come together for one brief moment,
just shake hands on
and
that.
said, this country with 30,000 people, we're gonna bully the shit out of them for a while.
Yes. Not since World War II has a greater uniting of the UK and the United States has ever
This
been.
movie is America and Britain's baby.
Yes, it really is.
Oh my god.
And it's made Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and Edgar Wright just heroes on both countries.
Oh man.
I really hope one of these days I can actually meet at least Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Like I would love to have them sign like one of my posters or something like that.
What we need to do is make them unpopular enough for them to actually visit a con we can afford.
Yeah, no kidding.
So let's start a slander campaign. They'll have to headline next to some voice actor from some side character that no one's heard of, and then we can be like, yes.
The greater good. We have to say the greater good every time they say the greater good.
You have to say that too. Whoever's watching at home.
Yes, everyone who watches these, they always have to say the greater good whenever they say it because it's the best.
Quite appalling.
Well, of course we murdered her for that. She also had a really shrill laugh. I mean, actually, wouldn't you murder someone over a really bad Shakespeare performance, Martha?
I've come close.
Do you guys have any actors that you would murder?
Not off the top of my not off the top of my head. I mean, I'd certainly like to kill off Michael Bay, but then again, if I did, then this wonderful gem would never have existed.
Yes.
So I'm willing to just like keep a very far distance between me and him.
Have you heard that? I think a couple years ago, Shia LaBeouf felt so bad about how shitty Transformers 3 was.
Yeah.
'Cause Transformers 1 is watchable. I will say that as somebody who babysit a kid who was 12 when Transformers 1 came out.
Yeah.
That it's watchable. But the other Transformers movies are fucking train wrecks. So anybody who saw Transformers 3, if you could prove that you had a ticket and you showed Shia LaBeouf, he'd send you his own money to refund you.
That's awesome.
He just felt like
That's
so bad.
I'm
George
sorry.
George Clooney did the same thing with Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin was fun.
It was meant to be
Wait,
a little kid show.
the greater good.
It was absolutely a little kid's movie.
That
but
adult nerds took too seriously.
well, I feel like if somehow you were tricked into watching a children's Batman movie as an
shit.
adult, like, didn't they have reviews back then to tell you what type of movie it was? I don't think it was a bad movie.
It was like the 90s. So.
Yeah, it was 97.
So you just saw Batman and you had to buy the ticket because it was Batman.
Well,
and
yeah,
you were
because-
sad because it wasn't Tim Burton.
Well, no, I mean, we were starving back in the 90s. Like, good comic book movies were hard to find. They weren't, like, ridiculously oversaturated like they are today.
I feel like you didn't promise a good comic book movie.
Well, dude, like, it was even worse for Forever because Val Kilmer makes a reference to Metropolis. So you're like, oh my god, a Batman-Superman thing, we're so close! But, that never went anywhere. And, of course, when it fucking did, oh my god.
We will talk about that with Zach.
Yes.
Later.
That is actually going to... spoilers. That's actually going to be a later episode, Batman v Superman.
Spoiler, I don't think Batman and Robin was that bad. I think it was campy.
It's
I think
fun
it
when
was
you're with...
fun.
It's fun when you're with the right people and you're in the right mood.
I just watched it with my sister and I was like, I knew it was bad. I knew that puns were coming. I expected it to be like cringy or hard to watch, like Neil Breen or Tommy Wiseau. It wasn't cringy. It was just...
It's kind of cringy for me, but that's just me.
full-on juvenile laughs. It was immature,
Yeah.
but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, well, I hold
When
back...
they went for a joke, it was a joke, and I laughed at the joke.
Oh, I do too, but
They meant for Bat Credit Card to be funny, and Bat Credit Card's fucking hilarious. Bat Credit Card's hysterical.
The Bat Credit Card.
No.
It's iconic.
No, that one kind of still hurts. And oh shit.
Murder Posse.
Murder Party!
Daddy, no.
No, Nicholas Butterman! Danny!
No.
You too, Brutus! No! Oh my god.
This part actually makes me sad when he, like, threatens it.
Just like, come on, man. Because it's already, like, devastating when you find out that the fucking chief inspector is behind it.
Yeah.
And then this happens, like, Danny, no. My only best friend. But, yeah. Also, hey, this scene actually kind of feels a little bit like The World's End. I mean, Simon Pegg running away from...
Mobs.
With lights, with
Jugglers.
lights, yeah. And then the dog's... Oh, God.
That poor dog.
Where is all this? Like, how does that... I still want to know how
They bury the whole catacombs.
Well, there's also, like, a camper in the catacombs, too. Like, oh, shit, they killed off all the kids, too.
Yeah, because once you get arrested, you die off, I guess, here.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's why
Instead of having an arrest record, they have
shit,
a murder rate.
Well, that's
Or
why...
a disappearance record.
That's why when he was trying to catch...
Bushy beard!
Peacocker, like, they ran interference, like, the mothers got in the way and all of that. That was orchestrated, like,
Yeah.
all the stuff he ran into, because they didn't want him to catch him.
Yeah.
But when they caught him, they had to kill him.
Yep.
So the goal was to keep him alive, I think,
No.
by not letting
Damn it, Nick! Oh, no.
the heartbreak here, the
Yeah.
betrayal.
Oh.
Sasuke Uchiha has nothing on this.
Stabbed in the heart.
What a waste.
Oh, man. That's... Like, the way that it pans
brutal.
over, too, is like, oh,
Maybe
man.
now we got bad blood.
And you know we got problems.
I just revealed in like the last 5 minutes that I know Naruto, Taylor Swift, and Batman and Robin all like right.
But, of course,
Pinnacle of taste.
thank God it's not for real, because...
I love that. That's my favorite little.
I even love how the red light kind of accentuates that little ketchup thing.
Love it.
It's ketchup. Oh man, this is such a fuck. You know it.
Fuck neighborhood watch associations, though.
Yeah, because they're just vigilantes, man.
Drea almost got kicked out of her house for not mowing the part of the lawn that was right next to the highway. There's like a 2-foot strip of grass between like the highway and then like the sidewalk. That's part of her house technically, and they weren't mowing that, and they were like, but cars rush by every time we're there.
Yeah,
like,
dude, like that shit's dangerous.
but you own a home, and so it must look perfect, and blah, blah, blah,
Our
blah,
neighborhood
blah,
can't
blah,
be
blah,
that.
blah, blah.
Or
No, it
just-
totally is. It
Oh,
totally
really?
is. I've had conversations, so, but
Suburbs are hard.
yeah, which is why
I can't wait to move to the city. I'm so fucking excited. Out of the fucking suburbs.
Oh, man.
Swear jar.
Yeah.
This is swear jar. Unfortunately, because I want to pay less than $10 million for a home, and I don't want to pay rent forever, I'm probably going to move to the suburbs someday, so...
Or you can just move with us and be
might.
a roommate.
Or I might just make references at this to, like, all, like, the nice couples and their families who have to deal with my shit.
Yeah. Oh man,
either
that's
gonna
so
be
sad.
It's either gonna be city
How does
or
Nick get
country
back?
for me. No.
How did Sergeant
No
Butterman get
suburbs
back?
for you, I know.
Yeah.
Did he just walk back?
I guess
He got
so.
an Uber.
Oh, he got an Uber. Does Uber exist yet? This is 2007.
No, it doesn't. He
He just
invented
walks.
it.
He just walks
He
back.
does. He just walks home.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he could probably tell his dad he stopped at the pub or something.
yeah. Now, if I'm, is that an Edgar Wright cameo? I don't think that's
I
him.
don't think
No.
that's him. It looks vaguely like his mom cameos.
Yes, that I do know.
She is one of the judges later
Yes, along with Simon Pegg's mother and one of his favorite teachers as a kid. But yes, do all of the action things.
on.
No,
But
no,
do them in accordance to the police code.
Yes, do them all in accordance to police code, but still do them nonetheless.
When all fucking hand people change, then Nick.
I don't know why that little rapper of the Cornetto makes me laugh. Just it's
It's because it's the second gag. It's because first he grabs it,
Yes.
and then he grabs the
The-
coin, and that's you think it's it, and then
boop. Just like one little extra note to make it a little bit funnier. And you better believe God's coming. You son of a bitch. Oh shit. Nope, not Denny. Oh, get him.
It's.
Oh yeah, is that another month? It's. Mom! Everybody and their mums is packing out in the country.
Thomas.
Yes.
Thomas, mums.
And I love this.
I love just watching guys like drop kick old ladies.
And she's did some real damage. She's like, her nose is clearly broken. You're gonna arrest the entire town. Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly what he does. Oh, this is a wonderful gag. How do they not notice him?
They just don't care. They don't know he's fired. They think he's just getting his stuff. They're not exactly the most vigilant officers I've ever seen in my life.
That's true. Well, I mean, like one of them was literally like they labeled him as incompetent with all those things on the.
Incompetent, rude.
Yes, late for work and constant. All that stuff is just pointing into him.
asshole.
Yes.
Why are you just reading my performance review instead of critiquing this movie?
I love this turnaround. Just, oh, tell him you're out. You're clearly busy.
I need that in a gift. Me when I'm on a bad day and someone asks me for help.
And then this shit happens. You think it's just like, he's just had a late night and his hair's
Oh, yeah.
unkept, but oh man.
No, it's the one good pair of twins who'll battle all the evil twins
Yes.
in the other movies.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so can someone explain to me the only one school children at a time joke? Because I don't get that.
I feel
it's funny, don't get me wrong, but I just don't understand it.
Well, it's, I guess, just a lot of shops will have a no loitering policy or a no large groups of teenagers policy. I've seen some malls that say teenagers can't come in without parents. So I guess teens, all you can do is play on your phone and do drugs now. Parks and mall. The mall is gone. I feel so bad for teenagers.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you supposed to do?
I mean, I've heard some stores, they make you, leave your backpack if you're a kid at the front door, because they're afraid you're going to shoplift.
Right.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, so there are just stores who have a no groups of kids policy. So they just brought it in as a plot point. I don't think it's remarkably funny, but I like that you see it and then it comes back.
It comes into play.
Yeah.
I guess the lesson here is kids are shitheads, and you can only handle one at a time.
I think the lesson here is kids aren't welcome, and that's sad, because kids should be able to do tomfoolery. What kind of... You don't let kids in the park, you don't let kids in the mall,
Yeah.
so the only places that kids are allowed to be are at home with their mommies and daddies watching them at family game night, or on the internet.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is...
I'm not going to get angry here.
Yeah, no, this is... I love this. This is actually my daily greeting to you. Just morning.
Morning angle. You do.
Morning
say that
angle. And then this shit here, and it just unloads.
Oh my god.
The action in this sequence is really kind of amazing.
It's like the money shot of the whole movie is that it builds up to one action scene.
And
There's been no action through the whole movie, so it just feels so fucking epic.
Yes, well, I mean,
Everyone's packing around here.
There's been some action throughout it, but it's been so it's been really quick or really it just there really hasn't been a whole lot. But here it's like a 20-minute of unabashed, nonstop, action-packed, action. It just never stops. I don't understand why that defeats her. I don't
understand why it defeats her.
I don't know, but it's funny, and I like that. Oh, fun fact, that shotgun that he's using, that's the same one that Arnold Schwarzenegger used in Terminator 2.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. So I can tell that even with their guns, they're kind of referencing some other action films.
Oh, all guns look the same to me. Like I said,
this shit is funny.
Baby.
It's inherently funny to
Just
see.
on the bicycle.
It's inherently funny to see
Dual wheel.
Someone kind of equivalent to what you would expect to know as someone's mom or aunt.
She's a school teacher, I think.
Yeah, but wielding dual pistols, bicycling with a pissed off face. Like, that's just inherently funny.
I think it's this combination of heavy violence and small town quaintness that
Yes.
is the one joke in the movie is heavy violence and small town quaintness is hilarious together.
Yes. And then we have another cameo here with one of the barkeeps that she's going to get shot in just a moment. But that's actually Jessica Stevens from Spaced.
Oh.
Yeah, Daisy from Spaced. And she also wrote like half the episodes with Simon Pegg. So she gets another cameo.
Because I know their house manager. I think I saw earlier the landlady.
Yes, that's
the actual
Marsh.
bar owner.
Yeah, that's her getting shot right there
in the shoulder.
Yep. No one dies, which is kind of amazing because apparently Nicholas Angel's so freaking good at his job that he doesn't want to kill anyone. He just incapacitates them. And also, like we said, the quaint with the violent. The quaint with the violent. A grandma with a machine gun is inherently funny.
Oh, I love
with that swoopy poop hair.
Yes.
That just vibrates.
The poofy hair that vibrates with the machine gun.
Yeah.
And then of course
beating up old men. Too.
Yes. Although I really love how this kind of style lends itself to good staging because for an old man, especially someone who's his age, it's really hard to look convincingly and fight. You know?
That's what I'm saying is that's where cuts help.
Yes.
The problem is when movies hire two 30-year-old stuntmen.
Well, what I'm saying is like
to do the same thing and cut
when you
much.
build the entire style where that's only the sequence that they do it, and the rest is like wide angles kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But because it's consistent with the rest of the tone, it brilliantly fits in.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
and then of
And
course we have
can
this. Fuck off, grasshopper! Dual wields pistols and swears again.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny. That's another thing that makes it really funny is making priests swear.
That's
But
why you wear your vest.
He says in the beginning it's regulation.
Yes.
You know, he follows the rules.
Yes. And there's another moment here coming up where I love where the overcuttiness makes it really fun and just crazy. Where he cocks the gun. Yeah, right here. Because there's like 4 or 5 shots.
Oh yeah, he cocks the gun and then the thing flies out and then you cut back to him cocking the gun again.
And then this shit. Bam!
Oh, you see the toe fly off.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I've never noticed that before.
And then here comes the Bad Boys 2 moment where he rises up, spinning camera, bitches.
Swoop low with the telephoto. No,
You're a
rock
doctor,
time, I
deal
went
with it.
slow.
So Hannah, what are you thinking? I don't know.
I'm thinking pub.
Yeah. Oh, and I also love. Did you notice it was in there for like half a second when he throws the sign. The sign says "Come in."
Oh, no, I didn't notice that.
It's like another little welcome wagon thing.
There's a lot of signs that say welcome when they're running out of Simon Skinner's
Yes.
store.
Oh, I love the
Welcome.
The
shooting
dual
guy.
pistols, yes! Totally indulging in the cliche and just owning it.
Hey, look
What's
at
all
that
the
pub
things?
from World's End.
Actually, I think it might be one of them because, there's only so many pubs that they could have used while shooting. So I think actually, I forget which one because, they really try to hide it. But I think that's actually the Old Familiar from The World's End.
We'll have to see because I'm pretty sure the Winchester and then this pub are reused in
Yeah,
the
they
World's
are.
End.
They are.
But they're decked out completely differently. So.
Well, I don't think the Winchester was redecked out for the World's End, but this one I'm pretty sure was. But they photograph it in such a way that it's not noticeable. Like, obviously this is during the. I love this line. Somebody call the police.
Oh, another thing I noticed before, just because I had the subtitles on, is you know how he's always like, "Yeah, boy," in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Is when he orders the drink the first time, he goes, "Yeah, Roy," which is so stupid, but I love it.
But I think it also helps because this movie takes place during the day and The World's End takes place at night. So it's a lot easier to hide it with angles and in terms of lighting to make it look like an entirely different bar.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Is it weird that when we see his glasses pulled up, his glasses always feel like it's squishing his nose?
It's very unridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Come on, Frank, just give in, you silly bastard. Let Mom go. You just need to switch off. Frank is the one who needs to be switched off.
Oh man.
That's the lesson of this movie. Nicholas Angel. Ooh, that's a really wonderful little like dichotomy that the hero and the villain have.
Good dog.
They both need to.
They're both obsessive.
And they need to switch off.
Mm-hmm.
That's their arc. Wow, mind blown. Even this goes. He's got something here. Of course, we have to repeat the line.
Well, you see, like, I think in all 3 movies, like, a hero that's too obsessed with or stuck in the wrong place.
Yeah.
With Shaun of the Dead, the lead is stuck in his friendships and his old ways, like you might be when you're 20-something.
Yeah.
Stuck in your adolescence in, Hot Fuzz. He's
It's
obsessed with his work, like you might be during your 30s.
And Gary King is obsessed with his past.
Like you might be in your 40s or 50s.
Yeah. That's a really great recurring. Honestly, I think that feat to me feels like an Edgar Wright thing because you can kind of see that sort of thing going on with Scott Pilgrim and even Baby Driver to some extent.
Oh yeah.
Like Baby is obsessed with his music and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I think these are definitely specific stages in your life that you go through when you're, in your 20s or 30s at least. I can kind of see, oh yeah, you're too into your career, you're too into your same group of friends from high school.
He's finally got a good idea. Very good. What he said.
That's because Nick Angel got them.
Here come the fuzz. That's actually one of my favorite driving songs is the Here Come the Fuzz song.
Here comes the fuzz. Do do do.
Oh shit! It's the trolley boy. The what? Oh.
Oh, you got a Band-Aid.
The Hound is gonna beat the shit out of him.
I just love the over.
Oh yeah, and even
payroll lighting.
Well, even right here, he's trying to be a good cop and trying to defuse the situation, but when he knows he can't, the only thing to do is to beat the shit out of him. And then this whole sequence is really great. I love, for some reason, like photography or movie photography in stores are always really, really fun to do because they're just like nothing but claustrophobic aisles. So you can do like, lateral tracking shots and just show all these different aisles and whatnot, or go through them like this, almost like through The Shining. And
it's almost funny how much the products pop
yes.
in it, which gives it this weird
It's just
commercial vibe.
And a shitload of cutlery. Oh, even right here, like you said, like the jam, it looks like blood, but it's not. That's some really good touches right there.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of bright yellows and bright reds and
the blues too.
Yeah, blue.
In the packaging that they chose. So everything's white except for these things, and it's almost like reference humor, but for commercial.
Yeah. And
It's what Food Fight wanted to be.
Yes, it's what Food Fight. I'll have to be a later one.
I watch too many shitty movies, you guys.
No, Food Fight's.
I love it.
Food Fight's a piece of shit, but it's remarkable in how shitty it is.
Oh man,
it's a miracle, really. It's kind of like The Room, where it's like, how did this get made? How did this not just become like a thing?
Who paid money for this to be made?
Well, what happens is basically, what if you were making The Room, and then all of the tapes got stolen, and then you had to remake The Room in a week?
Oh God!
It's basically why Food Fight's
You say
that
cool
bad.
off? Shame.
Distracted him
the
with a
cuddly
cuddly monkey.
Oh, you're off the fucking chain! Oh man, this whole sequence is just so great. Yes.
Like
charge,
little battering
bitches.
ram.
Actually, this actually looks like Black Friday to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised this hasn't turned into a Black Friday tactic. Just getting a whole bunch of shopping carts and using it just to lay siege against the Best Buy.
This is how we're getting a smart TV next year.
This is how we're getting our Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
Oh, I like it with their sad little box cutter.
Yes. A little bit of girl on girl action. It's funny because it's sexist. Fruit attack!
She's allowed to be sexist because she's the only woman.
Were those workers defending the store like the others, or were they just throwing fruit at the bad joke? Oh shit! Going through the door. Why don't they just shoot him? Why didn't they just shoot him right there and then? They had guns. They were loaded. I guess it's because they need to indulge this cliche and also indulge in a high-speed chase pursuit where they also fire weapons so they can fulfill Sergeant Butterman's dream.
Oh yeah.
That's probably what it needs to be.
I think Mythbusters did it, and it depends on what sort of dumpster you dive into.
Yeah.
But most dumpsters are not safe.
No.
I did work at a place where it would have been safe to jump off the roof of.
Oh wait,
A Mattress
cameo.
Factory?
That's Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright's mother, along with their favorite teacher. Right on.
One of them was a recycling place for paper recycling, which is where I worked, and then the other place made just foam.
Oh, well, that would have been totally fine to
So-
jump in. Yeah, absolutely.
I would have jumped off the roof at that building.
Yeah, back when I worked at the ice cream shop, like I saw dumpster divers going in there all the time. Not for the ice cream, but we were right next to a sewing machine shop, so that they were always going in and taking old broken sewing machines.
Right.
Oh yeah, because you can fix them up if you work, but
Yeah, and sell them. I mean, those
Man,
are like $100.
This chase sequence is awesome. And wait, I love this one moment coming up. It's super funny. And bang, bang!
I said it out loud. Can't hear.
He's just such a child. Wait.
Bang.
Swan!
That's the queen swan!
Swan!
I I love this cut.
Yes, that's straight out of Speed. Like when the bus jumps over the ramp in the gap in the freeway.
You don't have to remind me about Speed. I wrote a 19-page physics report on Speed.
Oh, really?
The requirement was 5 pages, but I just kept writing in depth about every stunt until I had a 19-page report on Speed.
That shit's fun.
Oh, it is.
They got the swan.
Swans
secure.
Yeah, swans are not nice. So
also, I really love this one visual joke right here, which is they're so fucking dedicated to being a model village that they actually built a model village.
Yes.
Like that even ties in when he first arrived. Like there's the model village, but you actually think, oh, it's just like the wordplay is just fucking great. And they even turn this little kid into like a badass. Like he can fight for himself.
Yeah,
and that shot right there where the gun smacks into his shop.
A lot has to do with his store.
Yes, I love that. That's like a wonderful, wonderful little, like, just a great insert joke. And, like, building on the comedy and just the absurdness of the situation.
Stan vs. Evil lampooned this scene in all kaiju movies at the same time.
Yes!
They built a model.
Oh, hey, the keep off the grass sign.
God.
The keep off the grass sign.
That's funny.
See, that's in all 3 of them, too, isn't it?
Yes, there's a keep off the grass sign that Gary King jumps over.
Wow! This is great. I love finding these little details. Seriously, like, I don't know how these guys do this constantly to put in all these tiny little itty bitty teeny weeny details that constantly pop up the more you watch them. I love that so friggin' much.
They're just small stuff, but it shows that they care about the background and set design.
Yes, and they always have this wonderful philosophy that there's always room for another joke. Always room for one more itty bitty joke.
The jokes don't have to be in the dialogue or even in the foreground. The jokes can just be...
Or just this, like a callback. Aaron Aronson! And then
jokes can be small.
Yes.
Or a box cutter.
But of course they can still be pretty big like this. The fucking box cutter. Yeah. Oh, and he trips on his own store.
The first gore effect I saw in my life is this thing.
It's so bad. And
I
so
was
nasty.
Aaron A. Aronson at that moment. I think just I was his age.
Just divert your eyes, young Hannah. Divert your eyes.
No, in that moment I was corrupted.
And then, of course, this shit happens. Oh! The sound he makes is so pathetic.
I remember watching this with my dad, and like when he first got stabbed by that, he was like, that wouldn't kill you. Like, watch.
Just watch. It's like, this really hurts.
Oh yeah, well it doesn't kill him. He just cries.
It's funny. And then, damn it, this shit has to happen. Like, come on, we've had our villain caught. Can't we just like...
Oh look, he's wearing driving gloves.
Oh my god, you're totally right.
Oh my god, all assholes wear driving gloves.
Yes. That's gonna be like a sub thing with us. Like, all assholes wear driving gloves. That sounds like that's a good name for a band, Gary. You should write that down. Oh, and then we have the Point Break moment. Can't do it. Oh my god, the way that comes back is so perfect. I love it.
When it's shot for shot.
Yes, and it still works in context. That's what makes it really funny.
And then there's the metaphor of him destroying his own village in his reckless pursuit.
What?
In his reckless pursuit, man, dude. The visual poetry is just impeccable.
And they don't have to take a break for comedy to do
No, they don't. They don't, because
it just happens as you go.
The shit happens. Like, you don't need to say anything.
I can just imagine Edgar Wright describing this movie, and then he gets in the car, and then he realizes, oh my god, the swan's in the car, and then he just drives away and then crashes into a tree, and they're just looking on like, huh?
Yeah.
I like how it's the least dramatic car crash there was.
Yeah.
Just swerving.
And he's still going, ow! Ow! He's
the
still
kids
crying.
are all taking
pictures.
Blanket.
They're still taking pictures because teenagers are such dicks.
Oh, I know.
Oh man.
I love the kids here.
Yep. And of course now the chief constable from London is back and saying he wants him back. And
I'm with Danny now.
Yes, I'm with No, I've fallen in love. I kind of like it here in the country. It's nice. And of course the paperwork.
Koopa.
Oh my god.
Fowler.
Yeah, Fowler.
You can tell how much fun the actors had with this.
Yes.
Hatcher. Oh,
Yes.
Hatcher.
Just make a scary face.
Yes, make a scary face, and we'll put you up in there.
Armstrong.
Yep.
Skinner.
And he still has the thing in there. It's so funny. This is gonna take and it's funny because when he mentions the paperwork,
He says you can't incur that amount of violence without having a considerable amount of paperwork,
and that's
now
what
they're
happens.
Doing the considerable amount of paperwork.
But and of course, the thing is, like, they were actually talking to real police officers, and they're like, "Isn't there something that we can? Isn't there something we can actually address that that we can actually, like, acknowledge that happens with police work?" And they're like, "Paperwork. That's like the number one thing these things never do." And this movie fucking acknowledges it. It's awesome.
Unless you're Amy Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like, I'm 3 months ahead on my paperwork.
She loves paperwork.
Yeah.
Amy Santiago and Nicholas Angel would be a great couple. Write that fanfiction too.
A great detective team.
No, Butterman!
I would watch the Hot Fuzz Brooklyn Nine-Nine crossover.
Oh yeah, that would be so much fun.
Have them work with, like, international agents or something. And
so this is the one question of this movie that I have a bit of a question mark. How does anyone survive this? How? Also, Butterman was shot in the stomach by a shotgun at close range. Granted, it was an antique one and it's not as powerful, but that's still a shotgun at close range in the abdomen. And even the fucking hedgehog survives. Seriously, how does this happen?
Well, I could see a lot of the other people in the other room, like, having the explosion be buffered, but Nicholas Angel was pretty much right there.
Right?
And
If he had gotten, like, even just another 10 feet away,
yeah,
it would have decreased exponentially, but I feel like he's far too close.
Really, I think it's just because everything else was so absurd, this is just...
The big absurd ending. Why not?
Yeah, because it's already a bit of a cartoony movie that has, like, that zany, fast-paced, crazy humor that The Simpsons is famous for. So to have, like, a cartoon kind of, damaged rubble station, I guess works. I mean, I'll go with it. And, this upcoming reveal that, Butterman is still alive.
I like that they've got HF. I don't know what that actually stands for. But
Hot Fuzz.
It doesn't really stand for Hot Fuzz, like, in police
It
code.
totally does.
No, I know that in movie code it stands for Hot
Shush,
Fuzz.
you're ruining my headcanon.
No, but I mean, I'm guessing that's probably double entendre. It stands for Hot Fuzz, but it's probably also a police marker of some sort that means something.
Possibly. I forget. Of course, then this whole thing right here where it's just covered up.
Oh,
like, you already know.
actually,
You just
yeah.
know, like, that he survived where they covered it up. So... like, because I feel like that could have been staged just a little bit better. That's just me.
It's a little obvious, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hold on it for so long that you're like, come on, dude.
Yeah. But I still, because these guys are so freaking inventive and so smart, I'm like...
You think they could have found a way to properly bait and switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's just me. It's kind of like being a little disappointed by a teacher being disappointed by a favorite student.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
we only ask because you're clever and we wish you could have done it.
Yes. So, and there's the title.
Here comes the fuzz!
Yeah.
Yes!
Would you guys watch a sequel to this movie? Like a direct sequel?
A direct sequel? That would be out of, usually, like, the Edgar Wright line, but I would. This is my favorite movie in the trilogy.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't mind seeing these characters again.
Preferably to a sequel movie. I would watch a cop show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, crime and episode type deal.
This
Maybe with a big bad at the end of every season.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, it would be really hard to consistently be this good in writing.
Yeah.
Although I do know that because, this was before the days where the Cornetto thing started to catch on.
Yeah.
They'd actually had a sequel for Shaun of the Dead in works.
Oh, yeah.
It was called Shaun of the Dead 2: Shaun Rising.
Oh, yeah.
But
one of the reasons I would watch this as a TV show more is because this spent all of its time referencing and lampooning kind of Michael Bay type action movie tropes.
Yeah.
That cop procedural shows are such a common trend that...
Oh, wait. And...
Nicholas Angel?
Yay!
That to see them make fun of those cliches would be really refreshing. And
Yes.
nowadays, you don't have to do a steady stream of episodes. You can make one season, and that season can be 9 episodes long, and you can say, yeah, Netflix, we'll be back in 75 years for season 2.
Well, I mean,
I've seen good TV shows where it's only 5 episodes, and each episode's an hour long.
Well, yeah, I
That's a
mean,
good
Spaced,
story, yeah.
Spaced was famously short. They were begging for, like, a Series 3, but they never got it.
In Britain, you don't aim for Series 3.
No.
You kind of aim for 2-season things, where in the US, there's more of a trend of keep going on for as long as possible.
Yeah, which
Where
I
usually-
hate.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate it.
I don't think I've ever seen a show where after season 7, I'm like, this is still good.
Game
and
of
Rec.
Thrones.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec I'll take.
I liked the last season of Psych because they were very aware. They spent the whole season.
Well, yeah, I mean,
closing
because
stuff
when you
out.
have an actual end game involved, then I respect your show so much more because, you know, shows are still stories, and stories should have, like, endings. And they shouldn't just drag on, because if you sat me down and said, I'm going to tell you a story, but it's a story that never ends, I'd immediately walk away.
I'm going to tell you the story with the intention that my story goes on as long as possible until you just give up and leave.
Yeah.
And that's when I have to rush and end my story. But I'd watch a solid 2 seasons of them just solving minor crimes.
Yeah, just around the countryside.
The swan escaped again.
The
I
swan
want to see what
escaped again.
happened with Recycling Bin Man. Like, remember at the end of, like, Incredibles 1 where they're like, what happens with the Underminer? I'm like, I want to know who's fucking with the recycling bin. And will he get a steady fine?
But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing these characters again. Yeah, I'm still kind of glad that it's still just going to be its own thing, because again, it's so hard to write stuff this consistently good. Because obviously it takes a really, really long time. Because I mean, I know for, you know, like Martha and I, who write regularly, just cutting the fat is like it takes eons to process, you know?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, like, getting it up on the screen. And, I mean, like, I write fiction, so it's really easy for me to just blabber on and on and on. But when you have a budget
Yeah.
and film and that stuff, I think for me, that setting encourages me to cut the fat. Like, I tried writing a comic book, and it's like I made it, like, as brief as possible, because I knew someone's going to have to sit down and draw this.
Yes. Well, that's actually, like, you know, a benefit. Like, when you have limitations, that means your box is narrowed, and that means, you know, when you have limitless choices, you don't know what to pick. But when you have limited, there's, like, stuff that you can see that would be better or worse, or an idea that you could have never conceived of if you had limitless potential, you know? So, know your limits, Master Wayne. You know?
And avoid adjectives.
And if you ever have writer's block, give yourself some limitations.
Yes.
It's always fun. Even if it doesn't turn out good, it'll make your brain work differently.
Mm-hmm.
Or write something that is purposely bad.
That's not a bad idea either. Just like to get something out.
The trick is to not give a shit.
Yeah. Don't well, I mean, you're supposed to give a shit, but don't give a shit. It's somewhere in the middle.
Don't take yourself seriously, even though you take your work seriously.
Yes.
Like an
It's
Edgar Wright film.
It's a fine
Be
line.
laughable, but still a
Oh, yeah,
dark
care about
topic.
being good, but he doesn't. I don't think he ever cares about being deep or trying to make the best thing ever made. He just cares about doing the job well.
Yes, and
Right?
he does, because
Absolutely.
this movie is.
Tarantino? Sorry, I just saw his name on the thing.
Oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino gave some input on this too.
Nice.
So
I also saw that he used some Robert Rodriguez audio.
yes,
Like a song called Avenging Angel.
yes.
Funny enough.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're like BFFs, because, like, you know, and everyone in the film industry knows
I
everybody.
can't believe this movie's over 10 years old.
It really is
Oh, my
crazy.
God.
Like, wow, yeah, you're
Like,
right. It's 12
Of a
years
list
old.
of movies that aged well, this is definitely
This
it.
is definitely
Then again,
it.
Oh,
more than-
dude.
Then again, like, 12 years isn't really a lot.
Oh,
compared
dude,
to
are you
other
kidding me?
movies,
Like, we
so-
will be watching this movie till the end of fucking time.
Oh yeah, I saw it as a kid. I love it as an adult. I will show it to more kids because it's also a good intro to, you know, all that reckless violence, but to have a hero who ultimately follows the rules and is a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
It's like you get to see explosions, but only if it's done by a man who does everything by the book.
And is
Be
very
a good child.
and very responsible.
Nick Angel Jr.
There's this one, like, early comedian that I've been meaning to check out, because, like, it's like a predecessor, he's like a predecessor of Charlie Chaplin, Because Charlie Chaplin was this crazy character in a normal world, but this guy, he was a normal character in a crazy world, and it's silent film comedy. And I've seen a few clips, and it's really
What sort of stuff did he do? I might know him.
A lot of stunt work.
Is it Buster Keaton?
He's the one that fell down, broke his neck, and then kept on.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'll show
that's
you.
Buster
I
Keaton.
will show you the
Yeah.
general later. We should do some Buster Keaton because honestly,
Oh, yeah, dude, totally.
muting it wouldn't bother us.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well,
And
it
some Charlie Chaplin.
Well, it depends on you viewers out there. Like, leave us a comments if you got either Chaplin movies or just anything in general.
We've
'cause-
got old films, new films,
Oh, yeah,
borrowed
dude.
films,
Bad
blue-
films, good
blue
films.
It's the list is literally endless, and there is no stopping us. It's just stuff that you guys have seen plenty before, because we will spoil the living shit out of them.
And to quote Queen, don't stop
Me
now.
Because I'm
Don't
having a
good
get my
time,
cookie.
giving a
Having
good time. Stop beating me! Kill the Martha. Get the door. Hannah, kill the queen. The music.
We're American. We don't. That's not treasonous to us.
No.
You do not kill the queen. Queen Elizabeth II is a fucking gem.
I know she is. I know.
Good Lord. I would be honored to be in her presence. Just, Your Majesty. Oh,
Will you use that voice? That very gay voice?
yes. Because I'm so
You guys
flabbergasted.
are really monarchists because everything compared to Trump is just amazing.
Oh, please, no. Let's not.
We're
well,
not going to be that type of podcast.
No, no, no,
Can I
no.
cut this political jargon?
We're not going to know.
No. I think it's just because now that the movie's well over, what are you guys thinking?
Pup?
Pizza.
Pub. She got it right. But pizza. But I will go for pizza and a pub too.
And you're a teetotaler. That's all right.
Fish
so,
and chips. There we go.
Fish and chips. There we go. Yes.
So in the comments, give us your links to your Andy Wainwright x Andy Cartwright fanfiction.
And any
Yes.
other fanfics we requested that you write during the course of this podcast.
Well, we requested a lot.
Yes.
And
And
hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you all in the third installment, and just be there because it's all for the greater good.
We'll see you at
The
the
greater good.
The greater
Good.
good.
The greater good. The greater good.
All right, thanks. We'll see you at the world's end.
Hey!
Comtrack is hosted by Tim Leifheit, Hannah Sipniewski, and me, Martha Reckers, and was originally created by Tim Leifheit himself. If you have any questions or suggestions for a future show, leave us a comment or reach us at comtrack.podcast@gmail.com. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page. This has been an episode of Comtrack, where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. Thank you, and good night.